it busted open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame casting crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
This
slams the ball to right field. Way back. Way gone.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time.
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays come back home to Rogers Center today, wrapping up a tough road trip with a celebration of a contract and an exciting series coming up against a National League foe. It's 3 in Toronto for the Blue Jays against the Atlanta Braves. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Tom Young, Christian Chiniti, and Derek Brandeo are our technical directors. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Mount Pearl and Corner Brook, Newfoundland. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. The Blue Jays face Grant Holmes today, starter for the Braves that somewhat came out of nowhere for Atlanta last season and locked down his starting role coming into this year. Speaking of, Easton Lucas has burst onto the scene for the Blue Jays. He'll get the start for Toronto as the lefty looks to build on an impressive 2 starts to begin his major league career. We have first pitch lineup standings coming up in just a matter of moments. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming at sportsnet.ca, on the Sportsnet app, and on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC.
What's up, baseball fans? It's an interleague matchup today. The Toronto Blue Jays host the Atlanta Braves at the Sky Dome. Thank you for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Go Jays, go! It's going to be a great game, and we are so thankful that you chose to hang out here on Toronto Sports Insider.
On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays, night mode. Lights up, let's go. For tickets, visit bluejays.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
The NFL Draft is coming, and the place for the latest information is SiriusXM NFL Radio.
This guy's decision-making is impressive.
Our experts will tell you what your team needs.
They've got to get better around Geno Smith.
And which players will make an impact.
Cleveland, they might already say the number one's going to be Ward, so we got to be prepared. Who do we like it to the most?
SiriusXM NFL Radio gets you ready for the NFL Draft on Channel 88 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favourite team.
I always think about this, always, and I'm signed here. I always think I'm going to be Blue Jay forever, and that's what happened today. We thank God we did it, and I'm going to be Blue Jay forever.
That was Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who spoke before today's game, a 1 o'clock Eastern press conference with him, Edward Rogers, Mark Shapiro, and Ross Atkins as they discussed and commemorated the 14-year, $500 million extension that will keep Guerrero in Toronto for, we think, the duration of his career. About to get set for his first game back at home since signing the extension. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's the Blue Jays and the Braves for the first of three. And Chris, of course, all the buzz, all the attention right now at the ballpark is being focused on number 27.
Well, it's pretty cool that it's actually official now. We've heard about it for the last 6 or 7 days or so. It happened on the road, so we were just waiting for Vlad and whoever else that's in his camp to come back to Toronto and make it officially official. It's been an interesting process. I was always in the camp of Vlad's probably going to wait until free agency. Why wouldn't he? He's come this far. But it was good to hear Ross say he wanted to keep him. It was good to hear Vlad say he wanted to stay in Toronto. And they got it done. I'm shocked and happy at the same time, but I'm glad they got it done.
Big day for Blue Jays fans and Toronto in general. It'll be interesting to hear the reception when Vladdy hits for the first time, but the Blue Jays won't hit first. It'll be the visiting Atlanta Braves managed by a veteran manager in this game, Brian Snitker, who's in the lineup for them today, Chris.
Well, leading off for the Atlanta Braves is Ozzie Albies. He'll be at second base tonight. Batting second is Austin Riley. He's at third base. Batting third is Matt Olson. He's at first base. Behind the dish is Sean Murphy. He's in the cleanup spot. DHing tonight is Brian De La Cruz. He's batting fifth. Michael Harris, the second, is batting sixth. He's playing center field. In right field is Stuart Fairchild. He'll bat seventh. Hitting eighth is Nick Allen. He'll play shortstop. And in left field, batting ninth, is Eli White. On the mound is righty Grant Holmes. For the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off is Bo Bichette. He's at shortstop. At first base, batting second is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting third is Anthony Santander. He'll be DHing tonight. At second base in the cleanup spot is Andres Jimenez. Batting fifth is Ernie Clement. He's at third base. In left field, batting sixth is Alan Roden. Hitting seventh is Miles Straw. He'll be in center field tonight. In right field, batting eighth is Nathan Lucas. And batting ninth, doing the catching, is Tyler Heineman. On the mound is lefty Easton Lucas.
28-year-old makes his third career major league start. A couple relief appearances over the last couple of seasons, but now a starter in the big leagues, and it has gone well. 2-0 with a 0 earned run average in 10 1/3 innings pitched. He's got a four-seamer, a changeup, a sweeper, and a slider, and he has been really good so far. We'll talk a lot about him, but just first, before first pitch, let's get to the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The Blue Jays open today as the AL East leaders at 9-7. The Yankees half a game back, 8-7. Boston is 8-9 in third. Tampa Bay 7-8 in fourth. And Baltimore 6-9 in fifth. The Atlanta Braves are last in the National League East. They are 4-11. Braves trying to get back on the right track. But if history, or at least recent history, tells us anything, Chris, it's going to be tough to do that against Easton Lucas.
Well, Easton Lucas has been really good in his first two big league starts. We've talked about him at length being a relatively green starter, whether it's in the big leagues, whether it's in the minor leagues. But I tell you what, he looks like a starter. The best thing about him out there is the confidence to throw that changeup whenever he wants, and that confidence to throw a strike on the inside part of the plate. I like what Easton Lucas is bringing to the plate.
Lucas's last start was at Fenway Park against the Red Sox. He went 5 1/3, 3 hits, no runs. He walked 1. He punched out 8 Boston Red Sox. He's done his warm-ups. The ball's gone around the horn, and now Lucas on the top of the hill. Ozzie Albies, the switch-hitting second baseman leading off tonight, will bat from the right side. Wide open stance for Albies. Lucas kicks and offers. First pitch popped up. Left side of the infield. Third baseman Clement comes across the bag and backs up again to make a one-handed catch. One pitch, one out. Time of the first pitch today, 7:08 Eastern. The roof is closed in downtown Toronto. That was a four-seam fastball from Easton Lucas. When batters put his four-seamer in play this year, they're now 1 for 21.
Well, the reason for that is because he's locating that pitch. If you can locate that pitch, you can get a lot of guys out in this league.
First pitch to Austin Riley, a well-located fastball, strike one.
And that first pitch to Ozzie Albies, it was just a four-seam fastball, 93, nothing special, but it was located on the black on the inside part of the plate, almost impossible to hit.
Lucas rocks and offers, and that ball's hit back foul. It'll be 0-2. This first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. One out, bases empty, no score. Top of the first. The 0-2. Just off the plate inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And how about that? That sneaky fastball. He has a little bit of velocity. That one there was 95. It's pretty good from the left side.
Now is 1-2. Hit on the ground right at the shortstop. Bichette picks it up. Crow hop and throw to first. Caught by Guerrero. And there are 2 down.
Pretty good slider at the bottom part of that strike zone. Austin Riley hit it hard. He barreled that thing up. But the only thing he could do with it is hit it on the ground.
So 2 outs, nobody aboard. And the left-handed hitting first baseman Matt Olson steps in. Olson holds his hands way off his body, the pitch. Called strike, 0-1. The Braves are going to win some games in this trip to Toronto. It's likely Matt Olson will be the driver of the offense. 0-1. Up and in, 1 ball, 1 strike. Because we did learn before the game from Brian Snitker, the manager of the Braves, that Marcell Ozuna has gone back to Atlanta, will not appear in this series. Probably their best offensive player. 1-1. In the dirt, 2-1. Actually, definitely their best offensive player is Marcell Ozuna.
Well, it's never good to hear somebody get hurt, but I can tell you who's not upset about it. Easton Lucas.
Definitely. Left on left with 2 outs. He deals to Olson. And it's upstairs, ball 3. Olson off to a slow start this year, 11 for 55, 3 doubles, a home run, 8 RBIs. He has walked a fair bit, though. The 3-1. Called strike. Olson thought he had a walk, but he'll walk back to the batter's box. It's a full count.
If Easton Lucas can just locate that fastball down and away, I'm pretty sure Matt Olson has no chance of getting that barrel to it.
Lucas working from a stretch with no one on base. His 3-2. High, ball 4.
I understand the thought process of Tyler Heineman and Easton Lucas. You don't want to throw something over the plate because Matt Olson has been one of the best, one of the premier power hitters in baseball for probably 5 or 6 years now. But there's nobody on base. It's the first inning. You can't throw a ball in that situation. Just throw that fastball down and away. Like I said, he's probably rolling over that pitch.
Instead, it's Olson on first, and the pitch to Sean Murphy is hit well left field. That's going to hook foul. 0-1. Olson and Murphy, former Oakland Athletics, both over to the Atlanta Braves on big deals. Murphy, unfortunately, has been hurt for a lot of his Braves tenure, but back in there today. 0-1. Hit well left center. Ranging back, Alan Roden and Miles Straw, and that ball's out of here. 2-run homer for Sean Murphy, his 4th of the season in just his 6th game of the year. And the Braves jump in front 2-0 in the first.
That was just a changeup that kind of floated over the middle of the plate. It was an 0-1 count. So in an 0-1 count, you want to get on top of that changeup and throw that thing below the strike zone. Man, Sean Murphy's got some serious juice.
He reached out for that ball on the outside edge and still pulled it to left center. 429 feet. For a Braves offense that has been struggling, that's a big start. First earned runs allowed as a starter for Easton Lucas in the majors. His pitch to Brian De La Cruz is a fastball in there, 0-1.
You got to get him out of the way sometime, Ben.
They were going to come eventually. So 2-0 Atlanta, 2 outs, nobody aboard, top of the first. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. De La Cruz really tried to hold up, but couldn't. 0-2.
I bet you Easton Lucas and Tyler Heineman are both kicking themselves for not coming right at Matt Olson. In that situation, nobody on.
Lucas kicks and deals. Fouled off, still 0-2.
Nice pitch. Another mid-90s fastball right on the black inside. Just ties up De La Cruz.
Might know De La Cruz from his time with the Miami Marlins. Also a little bit of time with the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's his first year here with the Braves. The 0-2. Down and in, ball 1. De La Cruz is DHing today. If Marcell Ozuna is healthy, he's always the DH. You'll often find De La Cruz playing in corner outfield spots. 1-2 pitch. Down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Base is empty, the 2-2. Line to center field. Straw jogging back, stops, makes the catch, and ends the inning. The Braves get a pair on 1 hit. It's a big blast from Sean Murphy, a 2-run shot, and it's 2-0 Atlanta before the Blue Jays hit. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit bluejays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Breaking news coming 6-5. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
The 0-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 looking.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Show Ali, our host. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, Christian Chinini, Derek Brandeo, our technical directors. Grant Holmes kicks and deals to Bo Bichette, who fouls off the first pitch of the bottom of the first. It's 0-1. 2-0 for the Braves over the Blue Jays. Sean Murphy with the top of the first blast. And now we get to see Grant Holmes, 29-year-old in his second major league season. 6 foot, 226 pounds. His 0-1 is hit on the ground up the middle. Fielded by Nick Allen, the shortstop. Throw to first in time. 1 out. We'll have more on Grant Holmes, but first, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up to the plate.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
A big ovation and a tip of the helmet from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. First time he hits back in Toronto after signing the 14-year extension. Grant Holmes kicks and deals. And Vladdy takes strike 1. Holmes has a 4-seamer, curve, slider, cutter, and change. In the rotation after some injuries, 0-1. Called strike, 95 on the inside edge, 0-2.
Vlad didn't like that call, shaking his head. Home plate Ben made it. Disagreed with him.
Now the 0-2. Swing and a deep drive. Center field. Racing back Harris. At the warning track, he makes the catch in dead center. 2 down.
Well, I think Vlad got a little bit jammed on that pitch. It was a breaking ball from Grant Holmes, an elevated breaking ball, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit it about as far as he could without getting a home run in that situation. A nice play out in center field.
So Vladdy's still waiting for his first of the year. We saw the first of the season from Anthony Santander on the weekend, and he's batting now with 2 outs and the bases empty. You mentioned Ben May, the home plate umpire, Roberto Ortiz at first, Bill Miller at second, Chad Fairchild at third, and a first pitch strike to Santander, 0-1. Grant Holmes, the hurler for the Braves, 0-1 with a 4 ERA in 9 innings. This is his third start, 0-1. Hit foul off the foot of Santander, who's limping around for a moment. It's 0-2.
Santander doesn't wear any protection on that right foot, that lead foot when he's batting in the left-handed batter's box, so that's got to hurt.
No protection at all for Anthony Santander except the batting gloves.
One of the few. It's rare to see that.
So he takes a second. Grant Holmes palms up the baseball. Holmes started the year in the bullpen for the Braves, but they already had Spencer Strider on the shelf, and then when you add Reynaldo Lopez to the injured list, they needed Holmes back in the rotation. 0-2. Hit on the ground, right side. Second baseman Albies to his left, picks it up, throws to first. And that's the inning. 2 groundouts and a lineout for the Blue Jays. Grant Holmes pitches a 1-2-3 inning, and it's 2-0 Braves after 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Celebrate the spirit of Easter on SiriusXM. Hear masses throughout the week on the Catholic Channel, including Easter Mass from Rome, New York, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. Embrace the promise of hope on Good Friday and Easter Sunday on Joel Osteen Radio.
You are full of resurrection power.
And celebrate the life of Jesus on the Billy Graham Channel. Plus, hear exclusive interviews, performances, and music for the occasion on the SiriusXM app. Just search Easter.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the second inning presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. 2-0 Braves, and the pitch to Michael Harris II. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Second inning of work for Easton Lucas. He gave up a 2-run shot to Sean Murphy in the first. Third baseman Clement playing in the 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Michael Harris, the center fielder for the Braves, 12 for 56 to start the year, a hair over 200. Takes the 1-1 in the dirt, 2-1. 2022 National League Rookie of the Year. Really good offensively in his first 2 seasons. Last year was a bit of a step back, although he dealt with injury as well. The 2-1. Hit back foul off the handle and into the screen, 2-2.
Good job getting back in the count behind 2-1. Then he throws a good 4-seam fastball inside to Michael Harris II. Can't really do much with that pitch.
The 2-2. Fouled back again. Inside with the slider. He's left that slider up a couple times already.
Yeah, that's one pitch that he's not getting on top of. The slider is just kind of spinning up there. He'll have to continue to throw it to get the feel for it. In the meantime, stick with that changeup.
Another 2-2. Low ball 3. Went with the sweeper. Did get on top of that one, but couldn't get Harris to chase.
Yeah, he's fighting himself out there. You can tell he doesn't quite have the command and the stuff that he did in his first 2 games. Eventually, he'll find it. He just has to kind of fight through it until then.
Payoff pitch. Hit high in the air, down the left field line, and that is slicing out of play. 3-2. It was a great first 2 starts for Easton Lucas. He was just the 3rd pitcher in the last 130 years to go at least 5 and give up no runs in his first 2 starts. His 3-2 is just outside, ball 4.
That's a good pitch. It's a tough pitch because it's a 3-2 count. You don't want to throw Michael Harris something he can drive in that situation. But you have to throw a strike. You don't want that leadoff guy to walk. And as we've seen so often over the history of baseball, if you walk the leadoff guy, there's a high possibility that he comes around to score.
See if Lucas can break the trend with Harris on first. Stuart Fairchild up the pitch. Hit on the ground at third. Clement vacuums it up. Throws to second one. Jimenez to first. Double play. How about that for erasing a leadoff walk? 1 pitch, and there are 2 down.
That was a great changeup. Down in the zone. Gets a little weak ground ball to Ernie Clement. And as we've seen so often, Ernie with the nice clean turn. Quick 2 outs for the Toronto Blue Jays.
It's going to be big for Easton Lucas coming off the 2-run inning and then the leadoff walk. It's now bases empty, 2 down. Still 2-0 Braves. Top of the second. Right-handed hitting Nick Allen up, the shortstop. The pitch. Foul tip off of the catcher, off of Ben May, the home plate up. And Tyler Heineman immediately turned around to make sure that May was all right. Ben May's waving off the trainers. It's 0-1.
Nice job by Tyler Heineman, kind of seeing what his buddy's doing back there. Always got to take care of the home plate umpire.
For sure. The 0-1. Popped up, third base side, foul territory, playable for Clement. He jogs through the third base coach's box and makes the catch to end the inning. That's more like it for Easton Lucas. He faces the minimum. No runs on no hits. Nobody left for the Braves. 2-0 Atlanta, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust
What's up, baseball fans? It's an interleague matchup today. The Toronto Blue Jays host the Atlanta Braves at the Sky Dome. Thank you for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Go Jays, go! It's going to be a great game, and we are so thankful that you chose to hang out here on Toronto Sports Insider. Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays game. We really appreciate you being here, chatting it up every single game. We're live 1 through 162 right here on Toronto Sports Insider. You won't miss any of the action. Every pitch, every home run, every big play by our Blue Jays, whether it's at the Dome or on the road, we're here and we're hanging out together, cheering them on. Now let's get back to the baseball. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell. And welcome to this awesome community. Now keep it classy, and we'll see you back in the chat.
Initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A game-tying blast from Bo Bichette.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second inning, 2-0 for the Braves over the Blue Jays. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Grant Holmes steals to Andres Jimenez. Called strike, 0-1. Andres Jimenez leading off for the Blue Jays. Ernie Clement, Alan Rodin to hit as well. Jimenez was one of several Blue Jays players and staff members that came to watch the Vladdy press conference. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 0-2. Unless I missed someone, it was Jimenez, Anthony Santander, George Springer, Miles Straw, Jose Barrios, Mark Budzinski, DeMarlo Hale, Carlos Fablis, and John Schneider in attendance. Next pitch high, 1-2. Jimenez, a left-handed hitter, 14 for 58, 241 average, 3 homers, 1-2. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He bent the knees as he watched that curveball miss.
Is there a different buzz in the air right now because of the Vladdy contract, or has that kind of died down already?
I think it feels like it, especially because now he's back.
Right.
It's a unique day here. Many of the operations staff and media here early. 2-2. Lined foul, hit hard and just over the screen into the seats down the left field line.
I think people genuinely feel like this team has a chance to compete for a World Series now, not because of the Vladdy contract, obviously, but that definitely clears things up when you talk about the trade deadline, things like that.
2-2. Hit on a line out to right field, barely having to move. Stuart Fairchild makes the catch, 1 out.
And I think that obviously there's some buzz in the air because of the Vladdy contract and the signing of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but I also think it's because of the way the Blue Jays have been playing, and over the majority of this season, they see the potential, which is great.
It's interesting to hear some of the comments from the executives for the Blue Jays talking about contending and competing. First, the pitch to Ernie Clement is popped up down the right field line. Long run for Olsen into foul territory, and the first baseman makes the catch just before the netting. Tough over the shoulder play, 2 down.
How about that nonchalant play from Matt Olsen? It looked like he was just playing catch in the backyard. That was a big league pop-up. I thought that thing was going to be about 8 or 10 rows deep, and Matt Olsen just sticks that big glove out and catches it before the netting out there in right field.
He is one of the better first base defenders in Major League Baseball. 2-0 Braves, 2 outs and the bases empty. Bottom of the second. Alan Rodin to the plate. The pitch. Inside, ball 1. In talking about contending, though, Edward Rogers had mentioned that signing this deal increases the Blue Jays' chance to win a World Series, not just this year, but going forward as well. 1-0. Inside, 2-0. He went on to say that they are committed to winning, that Toronto deserves first-class teams that contend for a World Series. And when asked what a good return on investment for this deal would be, he said a World Series title. Next pitch to Rodin, called a strike, and it's 2-1.
And I'm sure he didn't just mean one World Series title in 14 years. I'm sure he meant multiple World Series titles. If I know Edward Rogers, and I don't.
I was going to say,
just from what I've heard.
I don't think you do. The 2-1. Hit foul, 2-2. Mark Shapiro had talked about today that he believes Vladdy is joining a group of players like Derek Jeter, Tony Gwynn, Cal Ripken Jr. that were not just great, but great with a single team. The 2-2. Foul tip, strike 3. Rodin goes down, and Grant Holmes is cruising. 6 up, 6 down. He has the Braves still in front, 2-0 as we go to the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong Bird Food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
For this life I cannot change. Hidden hills, deep off in the main.
This is George Springer, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Mount Pearl and Corner Brook, Newfoundland. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. First pitch to Eli White is smacked into the gap in right center field, bouncing toward the wall. White around first, sprinting for second, and he's got a first pitch double in a game that the Braves already lead 2-0, top of the third.
Easton Lucas tried to steal a strike there with a little four-seam fastball right down the middle. Eli White just 1 for 7 this season. So as a pitcher, you probably think, I'm going to steal a strike here with a quick fastball. Eli White was right on that thing and drove that thing in the gap. A pretty good swing from him.
First double of the year on his second hit of the year. And White in scoring position for the top of the order. Switch hitter Ozzie Albies is up. Popped up on the first pitch of the game. Lucas looks at second, deals home. Called strike. Albies' overall season numbers aren't overly impressive, 246 with a 740 OPS, but he started 3 for 22 this year. He's been great since 0-1. Popped up, back of second, tough play, racing back Jimenez, backpedals to make the catch, 1 out.
That's best case scenario right there. Outside of a strikeout, a little weak pop-up to an infielder is perfect, keeping that guy at second base. That's a big run out there.
That ball for a moment looked like it might be headed to the Bermuda Triangle in between second, right field, and center field. But Jimenez on it, the runner stays at second, and here's Austin Riley. One of the better third basemen in all of Major League Baseball. Riley crowds the plate from the right side. Lucas's pitch. Smoked left center field. Rodin looking up, and that ball is gone. Out in a hurry for Austin Riley, his third home run of the year. Second 2-run shot for the Braves today. It's 4-0 in the top of the third.
Just another first pitch, four-seam fastball, thigh high right down the middle. And like you said, Austin Riley is one of the premier power hitters in all of baseball, and he did not miss that pitch. That was hit on a rope.
411 feet out to left center. Upper middle of the zone was that heater. And the Braves, who have struggled to hit consistently so far, are starting to show what people think are their true colors as the talent is coming out here in Toronto. Pitch to Matt Olson. Swing and a miss. Strike one. 4-0 Braves. 1 out, bases empty, top of the third.
And if Easton Lucas hasn't figured this out already, I'm sure this is a big learning moment for him. He'll have to start pitching backwards, mixing in changeups, that sweeper.
Next pitch down and away, ball 1.
That was a cutter right there. Pretty good pitch to Matt Olson, a guy that you can't just leave a pitch over the middle of the plate.
Left on left, Lucas is 1-1. Hit off the end of the bat, foul. Approaching the second deck near third base, it's 1-2. The Atlanta Braves are 4-11 entering today, but there are a few who believe that shows how good this team can be. The 1-2, outside 2-2. It's their third worst start since moving to Atlanta in 1966. They started 2-13 in 88 and 2-13 in 1990. 2-2. Fouled back, still 2-2. But this is one of the more talented groups still in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Spencer Strider has been out. Ronald Acuna Jr. has been out. Marcell Ozuna is now out. That's a new development, though, so they'll have to deal with that for who knows how long. But a lot of injuries going on right now with the Braves.
2-2 in the dirt, full count. They let Travis d'Arnaud go. They let Max Fried go. They brought in Jurickson Profar. He almost immediately got suspended for performance-enhancing drugs. But even still, when you look at Albies, Riley, Olsen, Murphy, there's a lot of good hitters on this team. The 3-2. High ball four, second walk of the game for Olsen. Welcome to the Timber Mark broadcast booth. Hit a home run on your next home improvement. For a great selection of renovation products and quality brands, Timber Mart has the bases loaded for a grand slam on every project. Batter up. Timber Mart is Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Tom Young, Christian Giannini, Derek Brandeo, our technical directors. Pete Walker out there talking to Easton Lucas right now, who breezed through two starts, but the third one has proved trouble.
Well, I'm sure Pete Walker ran out there to just tell him to slow the body down, get on top of your pitches. A lot of his pitches right now are arm side high, whether it's the changeup, whether it's the four-seam fastball. And now you have Sean Murphy up in that batter's box who hit a home run in the first inning on a changeup that kind of just floated over the middle. Have to get on top of your pitches right here.
The pitch to Murphy in the dirt, ball one.
And the biggest thing that I'm telling Easton Lucas right now, if I was Pete Walker running out there, is, hey, that guy at first base is probably not going anywhere. Do not worry about him. Make good pitches to Sean Murphy.
Matt Olson, definitely not a base stealer. He's on first with one out. Lucas steals home. Called strike.
Good pitch. 94 down in the strike zone. You have to stay there with all your pitches.
Lucas working with Tyler Heineman for a third straight start. Heineman sets up in, and the 1-1. Fouled off. He missed up and away, but it worked out anyway. 1-2.
Yeah, you can see Tyler Heineman set up in off the plate. Obviously, Sean Murphy's a good power hitter, wants to get those arms extended. So if you can bust him in with really any pitch, I'm sure they were trying to get in there with a four-seam fastball. That's a good spot to be.
Lucas in the set, kicks and fires. Ball hit on the ground to third. Clement on the run, picks it up, throws the second one over to first. Inning-ending double play. 5-4-3 for a second straight inning, but the Braves get a two-run homer from Austin Riley and extend their lead to 4-0 middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NFL Draft is coming, and the place for the latest information is SiriusXM NFL Radio.
This guy's decision-making is impressive.
Our experts will tell you what your team needs.
They've got to get better around Geno Smith.
And which players will make an impact.
Cleveland, they might already say the number one's going to be Ward, so we got to be prepared. Who do we like it to the most?
SiriusXM NFL Radio gets you ready for the NFL Draft on Channel 88 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former general manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former big league GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the Sirius XM app.
Radio Network.
Bottom of the third inning at Rogers Center, 4-0. The Braves lead the Blue Jays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Miles Straw leading off for Toronto. Grant Holmes rocks and deals. Down and away, ball one. Miles Straw among the guys who were at Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s press conference today. Talked to him about it. It was something the players had discussed on the plane coming back from the road trip. Swings at the 1-0 and lofts the ball out to right field. Jogging back, Stuart Fairchild curls to the line and makes the catch. 1 out. Straw had mentioned to me that it's such a big moment for the Blue Jays, and that was part of the reason he wanted to be there, and also just the fact that he's really enjoyed being a teammate of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. so far. The joy that he brings to the ballpark. He said there are a lot of guys out there that make hundreds of millions of dollars and don't really enjoy what they're doing, and Vladdy is the exact opposite. First pitch to Nathan Lucas with 1 out is high, ball one. Lucas, a left-handed hitter, faces a fierce infield shift. Third baseman Austin Riley way off the line. Next pitch called a strike. 1-1.
I mean, I've never heard anybody say a negative thing about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That's probably part of the reason why the Blue Jays wanted to sign him and gave him that much money.
1-1. Outside 2-1.
I can almost guarantee that if you're a bad clubhouse guy, you're not getting a 14-year contract. Nobody wants you on a roster for 14 years if you're a bad clubhouse
That'd be
guy.
a tough sell. The 2-1. Swinging a liner, foul right side. Hooked into the netting, 2-2. Well, I thought it was particularly interesting to see guys like Straw or Andres Jimenez or Anthony Santander there. They have only been teammates of Vladdy's for a month and a half, really, starting in spring training. 2-2. Hit on the ground to first base. Picked up by Olsen. Underhand flip back to Holmes, the pitcher. 2 outs.
I mean, it's very possible that Miles Straw and whoever else was in on that press conference, that they look up to Vladdy, they respect Vladdy, they care about his future, they care about him, they care about his family. I feel like, especially in baseball, because you spend so much time with guys, that it doesn't take very long to become friends or to have a good relationship with somebody, especially the way Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is. This guy has a smile on his face 95% of the time.
Two outs now in the bottom of the third. Base is empty. Tyler Heineman up. First pitch is hit in the air, right center field. Racing back, Michael Harris at the warning track, makes the catch, pressing up against the wall. And it's a loud out to end another 1-2-3 inning. Grant Holmes perfect through the first three. The Braves up 4-0 as we go to the fourth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NFL Draft is coming, and the place for the latest information is Sirius XM NFL Radio.
This guy's decision-making is impressive.
Our experts will tell you what your team needs.
They've got to get better around Geno Smith.
And which players will make an impact.
Cleveland, they might already say the number one's going to be Ward, so we got to be prepared. Who do you like it to the most?
Sirius XM NFL Radio gets you ready for the NFL Draft on Channel 88 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Go Otani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series is on Sirius XM, where back on the track Saturday,
3:30 p.m. Eastern.
It's the North Carolina Education Lottery 250, presented by Black's Tire from Rockingham Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Yes! I love you guys!
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
It's the fourth inning presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 4-0 Atlanta. Here in Toronto, it's Brian De La Cruz leading off in the pitch. Down and away, ball one. Easton Lucas back on the hill. Two-run homers have been his demise. The 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
It's a good job getting back in the count. He threw a first pitch changeup way outside, and then he just powered that fastball by De La Cruz.
Lucas now just trying to keep the Blue Jays in it. 1-1. Fouled back 1-2.
Another good fastball up above the strike zone. Missed his spot, but like we've talked about in the past, that was a good miss above the strike zone.
If he wants to feel better about the tough beginning to his outing, look to yesterday. Jose Barrios didn't have his best, but by going 5 and giving up 4, he helped the Blue Jays make a comeback. 1-2. Fouled off to the right, still 1-2.
And I'm sure that's what Pete Walker told him in the dugout after he came back to the dugout last inning. Hey, keep us in this ball game. Let's go 5 innings. Save the bullpen. We'll give you a chance to get this W.
The 1-2. Check swing. Pitch was outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And another changeup. Up arm side, you can tell he's just not getting on top of that pitch. It's almost beneficial to him to bounce one just to really force yourself to get on top of it.
His 2-2 hit foul. Got on top of the fastball, nodding his head after he delivered that one to the bottom of the zone.
That was a good one. 95 miles an hour.
Brian De La Cruz lined out to center to start his day. He's 8 for 40 on the season, a 200 average. The 2-2. Chopped foul, third base side, still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Again, Easton Lucas nodding his head, letting Tyler Heineman know that he hit his spot. That was a good pitch. I like how they interact with each other while they're pitching. Tyler Heineman will point out at him. Easton Lucas will nod his head.
2-2. Hit foul again. John Schneider mentioned before the game that this isn't a personal catcher situation, a little bit of coincidence lining up Heineman and Lucas for a third straight time. But he also said that he does like the way that Heineman deals with some of the less experienced guys. Heineman, the more experienced catcher in pro ball at least. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Elevated heater gets him. First K of the day for Easton Lucas.
How about that fist pump from Easton Lucas after a big first out? We've seen him let the first guy of the inning on base a couple of times tonight already. Little fist pump there, letting himself know that he can do it.
1 out, and Michael Harris the second to the plate. Ernie Clement in from third, toes on the edge of the infield turf. Left on left pitch. Hit on the ground to first base. Guerrero picks it up, pops out of his glove into his hand, and he steps on the bag. 2 down. Let's quickly go to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night, wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome. 2 AL East games going on right now. The Yankees are trailing at home to the Royals 1-0. That one in the bottom of the third. Bobby Witt Jr. with the home run. And it's 5-1 for the Rays over the Red Sox in Tampa Bay, bottom of the third. Stuart Fairchild to the plate, the pitch. Called strike. Two down and the base is empty. 4-0, top of the fourth. The pitch fouled back. 0-2.
Good job going right after Fairchild. Fairchild's only 1 for 13 this season, an .077 average. When you're a pitcher, you look up at that scoreboard, you see that average, you know that you should just pound this guy, pound the strike zone. Easton Lucas doing a good job of that.
Fairchild has been around. This is his 5th team in 5 years. Mostly a Cincinnati Red. 0-2. Fouled right back.
Right on cue. There's Tyler Heineman pointing out at Easton Lucas, nodding his head, letting him know that was a good pitch. That really instills confidence, like you said, in young guys.
3rd major league start for the 28-year-old Lucas. His 0-2 pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Heineman doesn't have the edge on Alejandro Kirk in terms of major league experience, but he has been around in major league and affiliated baseball for a long time. Heineman sets up away. The 1-2. Hit foul over the screen, off to the right, and into the seats.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why the Blue Jays wanted him on this roster. He has a good reputation in the league, whether it's in the minor leagues or the major leagues. He has good reputation in terms of the relationships he builds with pitchers. I like what he's doing, especially tonight.
Another 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 strikeouts for Easton Lucas in a 1-2-3, top of the fourth. All of our out-of-town scores were brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. It's 4-0 for the Braves, middle of the fourth in Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no such Bet365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
They got him. A strike him out, throw him out, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Bottom of the fourth. Blue Jays down 4-0 to the Braves, and Grant Holmes deals to Bo Bichette. Called strike. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Improbable route to the big leagues for Grant Holmes, a first-rounder in 2014 by the Dodgers. His 0-1 is hit foul down the right field line, 0-2. First-rounder in 2014, yet he didn't make his major league debut until June of last year with his third organization. Was traded away from the Dodgers to the Athletics at the 2016 deadline, released, and then picked up by the Braves in 22, and a swing and a miss from Bichette on the 0-2. Holmes has a strikeout. He's retired 10 in a row to start the game.
He's looked pretty good tonight. Like you said, an improbable route to the big leagues. It's rare that you see a guy make his big league debut 10 years after he gets drafted. Not to mention a first rounder. He was the 22nd overall pick out of high school. It's pretty impressive. That hair is impressive, too.
It is. Long, curly hair for Holmes, who deals to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Big swing and a foul off, 0-1. Has a handlebar mustache to match it. The full Kenny Powers eastbound and down persona being shown on the mound by Holmes. Righty sets at the belt, brings the glove up to his chin. Kicks and offers. Guerrero lines a ball, caught at short. Leaping grab by Allen, who reached up to his left to make the play.
Well, big smile on Nick Allen's face. He went as high as he could for that line drive off the bat of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's just missed 2 hits tonight.
He's come up with 2 line drives and nothing to show for it. 2 down now, and Anthony Santander to hit. Holmes nods, rocks and deals. Called strike. Braves promoted Grant Holmes into their bullpen in June of last year, but then the injury bug hit Atlanta. He jumped into the rotation midseason, jumped into it again in September. 7 total starts. 0-1. Swing and a fly ball left field. Going back toward the corner is Kelnick, and he'll make the catch to end the inning. Pardon me, Eli White with the grab, and that will do it for the frame. 12 up, 12 down right now for Grant Holmes. 4-0 Braves as we go to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app of the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Try on mom jeans. 80s and 90s pop, so soft and nostalgic. It'll have you decorating your kitchen with country geese. From Celine Dion, Wilson Phillips, and more. Indulge in the allure of mom jeans. One of over 200 extra channels on the SiriusXM app.
From dramatic walk-offs.
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
To jaw-dropping web gems.
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
College softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on SiriusXM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on SiriusXM or streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Go Hey Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
5th inning in downtown Toronto, and the Blue Jays trailing the Atlanta Braves 4-0 as we're back underway. Nick Allen at the plate, Easton Lucas on the mound, and the pitch. High ball 1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Allen is the number 8 hitter in shortstop, looking like he's taken over the lead shortstop job recently. 1-0 in the dirt. He's hit well to start the year. He's 9 for 29, a .310 average. And the struggles that have gone on for the last couple years for Orlando Arcia have continued. So Allen's made the last handful of starts at short.
Well, not only is he swinging the bat well, he's looking pretty good over there at shortstop as well. Made a nice play on a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. line drive.
The 2-0. Called strike. 2-1.
Didn't like that call, but that's a good fastball at the bottom of that strike zone.
Rec specs on for Allen, also has eye black under him. The 2-1. Swing and a foul back.
You're a big fan of eye black for night games at the Rogers Center, no?
Night games with a roof. It's a fashion statement.
I knew you were.
Nick Allen taps the plate, pulls on the brim of his helmet, pinwheels the bat twice, and looks out at Easton Lucas, the left-handed starter. 2-2 pitch. Swatted down the right field line, slicing foul. Nick Allen, part of quite the baseball family. Looks out at Easton Lucas. And the 2-2. Line to right field. On the run toward the foul line. It's going to get off the netting as Lucas couldn't get there. And it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nick Allen married a couple years back Savannah Boone, the daughter of Brett Boone. So his father-in-law is Brett Boone, the longtime Seattle Mariner. Aaron Boone is his uncle-in-law, if you want to call it that. And then, of course, Bob Boone and Ray Boone before that. 2-2. Another one hit down the right field line. Another one that will slice out of play.
So none of those guys are blood related.
Well, all the Boones are related to each other. But
well, those guys are.
None of them are related to Nick Allen. So I kind of got you on a technicality.
So that was just a smart move on his part.
Unless he
or not, depending on if you like the Boones.
If he wanted to dominate a Thanksgiving softball game, that's over. 2-2 again. Line to left field, sinking and down for a base hit. Allen around first. He'll stop there. He's got a leadoff single.
Well, I haven't seen much of Nick Allen, but what I have seen tonight, I've seen a short, compact swing. That was a very good swing on an inside fastball from Easton Lucas. That's just a pretty swing. Guy plays defense, too. He's a good player.
Struggled with the bat in parts of 3 seasons with Oakland, 2022 to 2024. He's finding a home here with the Braves in that odd Athletics to Braves pipeline that has opened up the last couple of years. Eli White to the plate, former Ranger. Lucas looking at first, deals home. Allen takes off for second. Pitch a strike. Throw down to second. Not in time. That was close. The throw tailed a little to right center. Jimenez got it and tagged Allen on the helmet. And Heineman looking into the Blue Jays dugout to see if they want a challenge.
Yeah, John Schneider's waiting for the call right now.
And they will not.
Nick Allen stole that bag on Easton Lucas. Pretty quick jump, but Tyler Heineman with a great throw again. Just missed him.
Yeah, the tag never got him. It's a tough play for Jimenez, leaping up to get the ball, running away from the runner. Pitch was a strike, so now the 0-1 offering to Eli White. Bounce to the plate, good block off the chest by Heineman, 1-1. 4th stolen base of the year for Nick Allen, who in 106 games in 2023 stole a career-high 5. Clearly, he's got more in the tank than 5 stolen bases in a season.
Well, clearly he's figured something out in all aspects of his game.
Corners pinched in right now, the 1-1. White takes inside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
It's a big run standing out at second base. 4-0 is doable. Once you get to 5-0, that's almost insurmountable. Easton Lucas really has to pay attention to Nick Allen out there.
Lucas looks back to second, kicks, offers, and misses down and in, ball 3.
He's really struggling with the command of that changeup. I've talked about it a couple times tonight, but he's just fighting himself out there, fighting the arm ankle, fighting the release point. Just hasn't found it yet.
Gave up a double to Eli White back in the 3rd inning. White came around to score. It's 3-1 to White. High and outside, ball 4. 3rd walk today, make it the 4th rather, for Easton Lucas. 2 on here, nobody out, and the top of the order about to come up for Atlanta.
And here comes Pete Walker again. I mean, 1st and 2nd, nobody out. This is a huge situation in this ball game, so I'm sure Pete Walker is again telling him, hey, slow your body down. There's nobody out in this inning, so I'm sure the runners won't be trying to steal during this at-bat. Just make your pitch, get this out, preferably something on the ground. So maybe he wants him to throw a first pitch changeup and he'll get a quick double play ball here.
Last time Walker went out for a mound visit, there was a 5-4-3 double play right after. As he heads back, we'll quickly peek at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Yankees have tied up the Royals at 1 in the Bronx. A solo shot from Jazz Chisholm Jr., his 6th of the year, 1-1 game. And the Rays have absolutely blown it open on the Red Sox. 12-1, Tampa Bay leads at George M. Steinbrenner Field. 4-0 Braves here in Toronto. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 1st and 2nd for Atlanta. Ozzie Albies up 0-for-2, 2 pop flies. Lucas steals home. Albies hits a ball on a line down the left field line. Long run, Rodin dives, and it lands fair. Coming around third and scoring, Allen. A stop at third from White. It's an RBI double for Albies, and it's 5-0 for the Braves.
Well, that fastball got in on Ozzie Albies, but he got it just enough to sneak it down that third baseline. Alan Roden, what an attempt out there in left field.
That one just hugged the line as it dropped in. Roden went full stretch, but it bounced by him. He did a good job of getting it in quickly to make it only one run, but it's second and third, nobody out. Infield in, Austin Riley to the plate. Lucas deals. Riley smokes one. Left center field and deep. That ball is way out of here. A 3-run homer for Austin Riley. And the Braves are up 8-0 on Riley's second blast of the day.
How about that power from Austin Riley? Wow, what a swing. Exit velocity was 110 miles per hour, 444 feet to left center field for that 3-run homer.
A huge bomb for Riley, who's doubled his season home run total in this game. Caught a slider that was left in the zone, down and in.
And this is really just a lesson for Easton Lucas. You have to locate your pitches against guys like Austin Riley, like Matt Olson.
Here is Matt Olson. First pitch cut on and missed. Strike one.
And like I said earlier, you might have to pitch backwards. You can't just feed fastballs early in the count. Maybe flipping a changeup, flipping a breaking ball, a sweeper.
Next pitch to Olson, hit off the end of the bat foul. That was the sweeper. It's 0-2.
But most importantly, you have to throw strikes. You have to throw strikes. And Easton Lucas really hasn't done much of the strike throwing tonight.
4 walks for Lucas after 1 walk in his last start against the Red Sox. Next pitch, called strike 3. Freezes Olson on the sweeper. And there's 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Blue Jays starting pitching has been among the best, if not the best in baseball so far, but today the first time in a while that they have really been put out of a game early. 3 home runs for the Braves, 8 runs in 4 1/3. Sean Murphy is a homer today. Lucas deals to Murphy. Swinging a foul back, 0-1.
Well, if you look at the starting rotation this season, a lot of the success is because the majority of the starting pitching for the Blue Jays has a ton of command with that fastball. And tonight, Easton Lucas really doesn't have much command of the fastball, so
0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
So it's very obvious why it's 8-0 in this ball game right now.
Lucas rocks and deals. And it's in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Action going on in the left field bullpen. Jacob Barnes is getting loose for the Blue Jays. 1 out, the base is empty. 8-0 Braves, top of the 5th. The 2-1. Popped up, back of second. Charging in Lucas from right field. He'll call off Andres Jimenez and make the catch. 2 down.
And the Atlanta Braves came into this ballgame 4-11, but we talked about this, I think, a couple of days ago. They kind of remind us of the Houston Astros of last year. If they can get all their guys healthy, it's a team that could potentially turn it on, make a run, and at the end of the year, make the playoffs, really.
It's easy to forget. The Braves won 104 games in 2023, had a historically good offense. Pitched to Brian De La Cruz, called strike 0-1. And yes, they took a dip last year, still won 89 and made the playoffs, and they had significant injuries on both the pitching side and the position player side. Talking about Acuna and Spencer Strider, among others. 0-1, poked foul, 0-2. So it's a team that again entered this year with big expectations, some injuries, some underperformance so far this season. But the talent tends to shine over 162.
And it really doesn't get any easier for the Blue Jays offense. You have Spencer Schwellenbach, and then you have Spencer Strider.
0-2. Hit back foul.
And that's tomorrow and Wednesday.
Strider expected to make the start, returning after the internal brace surgery on his UCL. And Schwellenbach has been awesome. Maybe the best pitcher in baseball through 3 starts. 2 outs, top of the 5th, 0-2. De La Cruz pokes it out to right field. Lucas ranging toward the corner, makes the catch, and ends the inning. 4 runs for the Braves, capped off by Austin Riley's 3-run homer. It is 8-0 Atlanta, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I'm Katie Nolan, and I have a new podcast called Casuals. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Casuals is a twice-a-week hang with me and my friends from across comedy, sports, and entertainment, where we talk about all the funny, weird, interesting stuff happening in and around the world of sports. So whether you're a diehard fan or just vaguely sports curious, Casuals is the podcast for you. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Give it a try. What's the worst that could happen?
I'm Mike Ferris. If you're like me, you love baseball. You love talking baseball with your friends, and your partner on the radio is the former general manager of the Mets.
This is Jim Duquette. Join me and Mike weekdays at 10 Eastern for Power Alley on MLB Network Radio.
It's baseball, and more baseball. 100% in-depth baseball talk.
We spent an entire week once on pulled pork recipes.
It's 95% in-depth baseball talk on Power Alley. Weekdays, 10 Eastern, MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody!
This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays Baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. 8-0 for the Atlanta Braves, bottom of the 5th inning, and the Blue Jays still looking for their first base runner today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's Andres Jimenez leading off against Grant Holmes. Right on left, the pitch. Down and in, ball 1.
Before that pitch, Grant Holmes had thrown 35 pitches and 28 strikes. It's pretty impressive.
His 1-0. In the dirt, 2-0. Couple hard hit balls by Vladdy. Other than that, not that many threats so far to Grant Holmes, who's gone 12 up, 12 down to start his day.
We're in the bottom of the 5th inning, and he has 38 pitches.
His team's up 8-0, so to go. 2-0 pitch, yanked inside, 3-0. This 5th inning brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Holmes kicks and offers. Called strike. Jimenez was taken all the way. It just landed on the inside edge. 3-1. Talking to Brian Snitker in spring training, he was very high on Holmes. 3-1. Fouled off the catcher Murphy, who just went down in a heap for a moment, but popped up quickly. 3-2. Really liked Holmes' ability to go back and forth between the bullpen and the rotation. But I thought it was rather notable that with Spencer Strider coming back, they sent A.J. Smith-Shawver down rather than moving Holmes to the pen and sending one of their relievers down. That could change 15 days. They could bump Holmes to the bullpen, but they decided to give Holmes the start here rather than change things around.
Well, I'll tell you this much. If he continues to pitch like he's pitching tonight, he's not going anywhere. He's staying in this rotation. They'll find a spot for him.
3-2. Outside ball 4. The Blue Jays have their first base runner of the day on a leadoff walk to Andres Jimenez. So runner on first in Andres Jimenez, and his former Cleveland Guardian teammate Ernie Clement is up. Ernie coming off a 4-hit game He's 7 for 37 on the year. The pitch. High ball 1. For Clement, not only did he have more hits yesterday than he did in all of the rest of the games this year, but it was his first career 4-hit game in the majors. The 1-0. Called strike. Well, they had some ups and downs on the trip. Ernie told me that he felt pretty good about how the Blue Jays played on the road. 1-1. Hit on the ground to third base. Riley has it. Over to second for 1. Albies to first, double play.
I mean, I tend to agree with him. I think, in that New York Mets series, if there was a couple of hits here or there, some ball fell their way, I think they would have had 2 of 3 wins. So they played pretty well. Obviously, they pitched really well, and the bats eventually came alive. But like I said, if a couple of things fell their way, they would have been much better off.
2 down after the double play ball, and the pitch to Allen Roden. Foul tip, strike 1. 8-0 for the Braves. Grant Holmes has faced the minimum and not allowed a hit so far. The 0-1. Roden takes it. Check swing on a pitch in the dirt. Ball 1.
In 2024, Grant Holmes was 2-1 with a 3.5 ERA. 26 games, 7 games started. It's really difficult, and I don't think people realize how difficult it is to go back and forth. So when you have a guy like this that can...
1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
It's a big plus for your starting rotation, for your bullpen. You don't have to have that 6th or 7th starter built up or rely on that 6th or 7th starter built up in AAA. You have a guy on your roster that you can just flip in at any time, really.
1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch from Holmes. Hit back foul.
But it is really hard on your body. I've done the back and forth thing. I did the back and forth thing for the majority of my career in the minor leagues. It's really hard on your body. You don't really get a routine going. So I have a lot of respect for this guy standing out on that mound right now.
And a guy who hadn't really started in the minors even regularly since 2019. 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He was drafted as a starter, pitched as a starter for a while. But after 2019, he was exclusively a reliever, or near exclusively a reliever. Braves had him stretch out a little bit last year, and it's worked out in a big way. He's trying to end the 5th. His 2-2. Check swing, pitch in the dirt, appeal to third. He didn't go. Full count.
Well, it's interesting when you watch him pitch, and he does have really good stuff, mid-90s fastball plus off-speed stuff, but he doesn't really strike you as a starter. He looks like a reliever, and when you get like pigeonholed, I feel like you can't get out of that.
The 3-2. Hit on the ground right side. Backhanded stop by Olsen. Overhand throw back to the pitcher, covering the bag to end the inning. A walk for the Blue Jays, but Holmes has still faced the minimum as he erased it with a double play. It's another scoreless frame. We go to the 6th. The Braves up on the Blue Jays, 8-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
Law & Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law & Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law & Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law & Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Roddy rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back.
Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A pitching change for the Blue Jays as we go to the top of the 6th inning. This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 8-0 Braves. Jacob Barnes is in the game for Toronto. The right-hander starts off with Michael Harris II. Right on left, the pitch. Outside at 95, ball 1. For Barnes, his 5th appearance as a Blue Jay. In 5 innings, he's given up 4 earned runs on 7 hits, 1 walk, 4 Ks. 1-0. Chopped to first base. Guerrero fields it, but foul. 1-1. Sixth inning brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. It'll feature Michael Harris, Stuart Fairchild, and Nick Allen hitting for the Atlanta Braves. Harris at times the leadoff hitter. Here's the 1-1. Outside 2-1.
The Blue Jays have their first official off day on April 17th, so the bullpen will get some rest on that day, but you still want Jacob Barnes to go at least 2 innings in this ball game.
Barnes is 2-1. Called strike. This was supposed to be a stretch of 13-13 for the Blue Jays. The rain postponement on the 11th built in an off day that Toronto didn't know they'd have. The 2-2. Hit foul to the left. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Not a true off day, though. You still come to the field. You do your routine. You throw. You do all that stuff. And then you find out that the game is rained out.
And as Jeff Hoffman said to me today, they're going to pay for it later anyway. So it's only an off day suspended, really. 2-2. Hit high to left field. Medium depth. Drifting out near the track. Allen Roden makes the catch. 1 out.
And no offense to Baltimore, but who wants a rainy off day in Baltimore? No, seriously. What are you going to do? Go walk around in the rain?
I'm not going to go. I like the people of Baltimore. 1 out, top of the 6th inning. 8-0 for the Braves over the Blue Jays. Maybe you get some good crap.
Okay. You're so positive. I'm a pessimist.
Stuart Fairchild is up with 1 out. And the pitch home. Popped up, middle of the infield, or rather actually near home plate. Tyler Heineman ditches the mask, makes the catch, a little up the third baseline, 2 down.
I actually thought Ernie Clement would call off Tyler Heineman on that play. A much easier play for Ernie Clement coming in. Tyler Heineman was kind of drifting back a little bit. A little scary play for Jacob Barnes standing out on that mound.
Blue Jays get the out, though, with 2 down. Nick Allen is up. His single started the 4-run 5th. 8-0 Braves. Space is empty. Barnes comes set from the first base side of the rubber. Ready's pitch. High ball 1.
Do they sell crab at Camden Yards?
They do.
Now you want me to go back to Baltimore when it's raining.
I knew I could get you. Barnes is 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Quick preview of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Yankees up 4-1 now. They've homered 4 times. First Chisholm, then Grisham, then Rice, then Wells. 4-1 they lead. Kansas City bottom 5. Next pitch to Allen is low. 2 balls and 1 strike. And the Rays up 14-1 now. In the 4th inning against the Boston Red Sox, they hung 12, 11 earned on Tanner Houck. The 2-1. Allen hits it on the ground, left side of the diamond, picked up by Clement. Sidearm toss to first in time to end the inning. Out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. At the middle of the sixth in Toronto, the score is 8-0 for the Atlanta Braves. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From the roots of Motown and R&B to the groovy rhythms of the 70s. Music icon Smokey Robinson is delivering his very own channel of 60s and 70s soul hits and stories of his career.
Hey, it's Smokey Robinson. Music is my life.
Whether you're cruising or just vibing at home, let your soul shine with Smokey's Soul Town. Channel 74 and at home on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike three and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app. Blue Jays fans, your manager, John Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Our bats have been really kind of the way we envisioned them. Jimenez has kind of picked up where he left off in spring, as has Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and George Springer is making progress and kind of quieting some people down on the outside with the start he got off to.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89 and the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the sixth inning, 8-0. The Braves lead the Blue Jays. Grant Holmes, no-hitting Toronto through 5, faces Miles Straw to begin the frame. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Holmes deals. First pitch strike. Miles Straw is 0 for 1 today. He's 9 for 25 on the season, batting .360. The 0-1. Away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Blue Jays seem to have unlocked something with Straw. I'm not talking about the average. I understand it's small sample. 1-1. Outside 2-1. But when you look at Miles Straw, he's averaging an 86 mile per hour exit velocity. He was averaging 80 in his brief time in the majors last year. The 2-1. Outside ball 3. So they're getting him back a little bit to the numbers that he had earlier in his career when he was a more productive offensive player.
I like what I've seen from him. I think he's a great defender, of course, but he's just making better decisions up there at the plate.
Next pitch, hit back foul.
And that's really part of that, or it's a big part of the exit velocity. It's not so much the swing speed, it's just the decisions that you're making up there. Are you swinging at a pitch that you can barrel up, that you can drive, or are you swinging at that slider off the plate? And I think Miles Straw is just swinging at pitches he can really barrel.
Next pitch is driven out to left field. Eli White ranging back at the warning track, looking up. That ball's out of here. First Blue Jay home run for Miles Straw. A solo shot. The Blue Jays break up the no-hit bid, and they're on the board. It's 8-1 for the Braves.
I mean, I hate to say I told you so, but that was a four-seam fastball at the belt, and he just put a perfect swing on it. Maybe got underneath it just a little bit, but another great swing. Like you said, he might be a different guy this year than he was last year.
First home run of the season, 7th of the career for Miles Straw, and the pitch to Nathan Lucas, high and outside, ball 1. Nathan Lucas to the plate, the 1-0. Hit foul, 1-1. It was a bit under the radar when the Blue Jays picked up straw, or at least under the radar, about what kind of impact he would have on this team, acquiring him and some international bonus money from Cleveland. Thought was, okay, maybe he'll play with them while Dalton Varsho's out and then go down. I don't think this guy is playing like he's going down right now. I think he's with the team for the next while. 1-1 to Lucas is hit in the air, shallow center, charging in Harris, and he makes an underhanded catch. Great speed, 1 out.
Yeah, when you're 10 for 26, I don't think there's really any reason to send you down to AAA, especially with the defense that he plays. I think people forget that. It's not so much the average, it's the defense. He can play anywhere out there, especially center field, now that Dalton Varsho's out, but he's a really solid player, especially if he keeps swinging at strikes.
The Dalton Varsho return could be sooner than we think. More on that in a sec. 1 out in the pitch to Tyler Heineman. High and outside, ball 1. John Schneider let us know that yesterday, Dalton Varsho, or rather today, he played an extended spring training game. He was no longer rolling it back to anyone. He was making some throws. 1-0. Outside, 2-0. Mentioned that because of the nature of the game, he didn't have a high stress throw like single and there's a runner on second, he's throwing to the plate, but he made all the throws back into the infield that he needed to.
So he's still playing on backfields. He's not playing at a real stadium in a real game.
Yes, 2-0 pitch hits the zone, 2-1. But the plan is for Varsho to take live BP tomorrow. Then he's going to meet with his wife because they are expecting the birth of his child, or their child rather. Then he will return to Dunedin, but join the Dunedin Blue Jays and officially start a rehab assignment. The 2-1 pitch. Chop foul right side, 2-2.
Well, that's great news. That is fantastic news. Hopefully he's still swinging the bat like he was in spring training. I don't think we're getting stats from extended spring training. But
I don't think so. 2-2 to the switch hitter Heineman. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Slowed it down with the breaking ball at 84 miles an hour. Heineman out in front of the curve, 2 down.
That's a dirty curveball right there. Looked like a fastball right down the middle and then just dove off a cliff.
So 2 outs. Blue Jays on the board this inning with the Straw solo shot. Base is empty. Here's Bo Bichette. Holmes offers. Called strike, 0-1. John Schneider provided some other injury updates. Eric Swanson about to face hitters. Ryan Burr about to throw bullpen. The 0-1. Fouled back, 0-2. And after being with the team on the road, Max Scherzer is home right now in Jupiter, Florida. He was playing catch fairly consistently on the trip, experienced some soreness from that. So he's again going to meet with Dr. Graham, the hand specialist. 0-2 pitch. Fouled off. And the other update for George Springer, who came out of the game yesterday, they said it was about the best news they could get, just some inflammation. Didn't get the sense that he's available today, but they didn't put him on the injured list. He is in the Blue Jays dugout, and they didn't bring anyone on a taxi squad type deal. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Holmes gets Bichette to end the inning. The Blue Jays get on the board on Miles Straw's solo shot. It's 8-1 Atlanta. We head to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Enter night mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit bluejays.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the...
What's up, baseball fans? It's an interleague matchup today. The Toronto Blue Jays host the Atlanta Braves at the Sky Dome Thank you for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Go Jays, go! It's going to be a great game, and we are so thankful that you chose to hang out here on Toronto Sports Insider. Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball. Oh yeah, let's go Blue Jays. Thank you for hanging out with us today here on Toronto Sports Insider. Now's the time of the show. Please let us know, where are you watching from? Where is Blue Jays Nation gathering from all over the world here on Toronto Sports Insider? You can let us know in the chat. Let us know your city and province in Canada, city and state in the United States, or international.
Braves
let us know your
8-1 in the opener of the series. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. A second inning of work for Jacob Barnes. Barnes kicks and offers to Eli White. Called strike. This seventh inning is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 0-1. Line drive, right field, sinking, charging in. Lucas makes a catch on the run. 1 out.
Well, like I said last inning, Jacob Barnes' one job is to get through this inning and potentially next inning, saving that bullpen down there. He's only thrown 13 pitches.
Yeah, 11 pitches in a 1-2-3 first inning of work for him is exactly what Pete Walker, John Schneider, everyone in that Blue Jays dugout and bullpen want. Top of the order now, Ozzie Albies is up. And the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Albies, the switch hitter, turns around to bat left. Interesting thing with him last year, when he hurt his wrist and then returned late in the year, he could only bat right-handed to finish the season. 1-0, called strike, 1-1. Part of the reason why it was one of the lesser offensive years for the all-star second baseman, who's been one of the better middle infielders in baseball for the last half decade. 1-1. Rolled over to first base. Guerrero deep, fields it, flips back to Barnes covering, and that's 2 outs.
Nice little 1-1 split finger there from Jacob Barnes, getting Ozzie Albies way out in front. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. having fun over there with Albies, going back and forth. I'm sure all in good fun.
Guerrero still talking into the Atlanta dugout. 2 outs. Top of the 7th. 8-1 for the Braves.
He's still talking, just so you know.
Looks like he's getting it from Brian De La Cruz as well. The pitch to Austin Riley, called strike, 0-1.
Probably talking about his new contract.
I was going to say, they're losing, but it can't be a bad day for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The 0-1. Hit on the ground to second, right at Jimenez. He picks it up, throws to first, retires Riley, and ends the inning. 6 up, 6 down, and 2 innings for Jacob Barnes at the 7th inning stretch. Still 8-1 for the Braves. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
Law and Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law and Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law and Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law and Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law and Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
10 Ks today for Kevin Gausman in 7 scoreless innings.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 7th and another plate appearance for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on this historic day for him and the Toronto Blue Jays. Tough game so far, 8-1 Braves, but a big day for Vlad. Pitch from Grant Holmes inside, ball 1. Today's extension with Guerrero marking by far the largest contract in Toronto Blue Jays history. The 1-0. Swing and a fly ball. Left center field. White and Harris converging. And Harris calls for it and makes the catch. 1 out.
Well, that was a cutter from Grant Holmes that just missed the barrel. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. actually put a pretty good swing on it, but it cut just at the last second, just enough to stay away from that barrel. Little weak fly ball to center field.
On the nature of the historic day, I thought there was an interesting comment that Mark Shapiro made during it, talking about just the reach of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and now the longevity he'll have with the franchise. Before we get to that, Anthony Santander is up, 1 out in the pitch. Called strike. He mentioned that from coast to coast in Canada, there will be people in high school and university right now, maybe getting out of university, who are big Vladimir Guerrero Jr. fans. The 0-1. Swing and a deep fly ball right field, but some room for Fairchild in front of the track. He makes the catch, 2 outs. Not only will all of those people be fans of Vlad, but likely a lot of their children will be fans of Guerrero as well, who will be here until 2039.
And it's really rare with how much money gets tossed around in professional sports now for a guy to stay at home, stay with a team, whatever sport it is, to stay with that team that actually drafted you, that signed you. It's pretty cool.
First pitch to Andres Jimenez outside, ball 1. 2 outs and the bases empty. Bottom of the 7th, 8-1 for the Braves. Holmes, the Atlanta starter, rocks and offers. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
And I believe he lives in Tampa. I could be wrong with that, but
in Florida for sure.
So, well, it'd be easier if he lives in Tampa. I was just going to say he has the training facility right there down the street from his home.
1-1. Hit foul off the foot of Jimenez, rolling onto the field of play, 1-2.
If he lives in Miami, it's not that close.
I think he lives close-ish to the Blue Jays facilities, to his facility. Makes his home in Tampa Bay. That factored in for some of those wondering about the signing bonus that Guerrero got. What Ross Atkins basically said was there were accounting benefits for both sides with the signing bonus. Didn't exactly delve into what they were, but people smarter than us can explain that. 1-2. Hit on the ground to the left side. Austin Riley, the third baseman, throws from near short and makes the play to retire Jimenez. Another 1-2-3 for Grant Holmes. He's gone 7 innings, given up 1 hit and 1 run. The Braves lead 8-1 as we go to the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I'm Katie Nolan, and I have a new podcast called Casuals. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Casuals is a twice-a-week hang with me and my friends from across comedy, sports, and entertainment, where we talk about all the funny, weird, interesting stuff happening.
Testing. Can you hear me? I think you can. At least it looks like you should be able to hear me. All right, what's up, insiders? Go Jays, go. It's a tough one tonight, 8-1 here, but this community, you guys are amazing, and gals. Carmen, Stefan, Candy, Rod, Mr. Roboto, T-Bone, Rob in the house. I love it. Rob all the way from, it's New Zealand, right? Or is it Australia? I hear nothing, I see nothing. You shouldn't see anything. It's just the mic because I'm on the other piece here. I just got back to the hub after a very interesting evening. Go Jays, go. Lots of work ahead with the playoff pulse. If you have not voted in the poll, please do so immediately. We'll see you back in the chat. Go Jays, go.
GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front Office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The UFC is on SiriusXM. Hear all the action live from the Octagon every weekend on SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 156.
Real life.
Top of the 8th in Toronto, and the Braves leading the Blue Jays 8-1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, Christian Chiniti, and Derek Brandeo, our technical directors. Blue Jays Talk will follow our broadcast, hosted by Show Ali. You can already get in touch with Show by texting 590-590. Standard message and data rates may apply. Pitching change for the Blue Jays as we get going in the 8th inning. It's brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Yariel Rodriguez is in after 2 strong innings from Jacob Barnes, and Rodriguez to face Matt Olson. Cuban righty rocks and deals. Olson hits it foul, 0-1. For Yariel, it's appearance number 6 on the year, 5 1/3 innings so far. He's given up 5 earned runs. His 0-1. Hit on a line to left field, right at Allen Roden. Moved to step at the last moment to make the catch. 1 out.
And there have been flashes of brilliance from Yariel Rodriguez, but there have also been flashes of really lack of command with the fastball, and that's always been the biggest thing for him. Can he command that fastball? Everything else hinges on the fastball. A lot like Easton Lucas, you see the success when he can throw strikes with the fastball, but then you see the lack of success when that fastball is spraying really all over the place.
He deals down to Sean Murphy. Catcher checks his swing and takes ball 1 up top, 1-0.
But the most impressive thing really has been the increase in velocity from Yariel early this season. That last fastball, 97. If he can harness that, he's going to be an important part of this bullpen.
His 1-0. Down and away, 97 again. 2 balls, no strikes.
And here's the biggest problem. He tends to fall behind 2-0, 3-0 to guys. He has good enough stuff where he can just come right at guys from pitch number 1. For whatever reason, he doesn't do that as often as he should.
His 2-0 is fouled back, 2 balls and 1 strike. He's gained 2 miles an hour on the 4-seam fastball since going to the pen as opposed to last year, but his walk rate has increased a little bit. 2-1. Inside, and it hit him. Caught Murphy on the arm, I believe, and this is worrying for the Braves, who already lost Murphy to start the year when he was hit in the ribs in spring training.
And that fastball was 97, right in the forearm of Sean Murphy. Ooh, maybe right on that elbow, that right back elbow.
Guerrero at first base was shaking out his arm, feeling the pain of Murphy. Murphy started his swing, so as he turned the bat over, he exposed that back right elbow, and the training staff taking a look at him right now.
And it was a sinker too, so it had a lot of run on it. Maybe that's why Sean Murphy started that swing just a little bit, thought that was a 4-seam fastball, and all of a sudden that thing ran right in on his elbow. I can't believe he's staying in this ball game.
Yeah. Great to see that he is, because you'd have to imagine he'd have to feel absolutely 100% to remain in, with the Braves up 8-1 in the top of the 8th. 1 out, Brian De La Cruz is up. Yariel deals home. Called strike, 0-1. Murphy on first, chatting with Guerrero. Braves have 8 runs on 6 hits today, 0-1. Swing and a miss. Nothing in 2.
If you look at Yariel's numbers, 5 2/3 innings, 3 walks on the season. That walk rate isn't awful, but it's just the fact that he falls behind a lot of hitters, 1-0, 2-0, and then you kind of have to fight to get back in the count.
0-2 pitch down and away, 1-2.
To be a really good reliever, a back-end bullpen piece that he can be, that I believe he can be, you have to throw strike one. He needs to learn how to do that.
Rodriguez ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Righty kicks and offers. Popped up. Just back as second base, Nathan Lucas sprinting in right center. The right fielder makes the catch. 2 down. Well, I think that can explain something. The falling behind that is a little bit puzzling when you look at some of the numbers for Rodriguez. We mentioned the fastball is sharper than it was last year. He's throwing it harder. Yet coming into today, guys were hitting 667 off of it. He falls behind. They sit on the fastball, and all of a sudden, 97 isn't so daunting.
Right. If you look at the averages, and I don't have them sitting in front of me, but if you look at the averages of hitters.
First pitch to Michael Harris inside, ball 1.
When they're behind in the count as opposed to when they're ahead in the count, expecting something, a fastball perhaps. We call it a fastball count when it's 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. The averages are way down when you get ahead in the count with strike 1.
The 1-0. Called strike 1-1.
And you're able to throw that slider. You're able to throw that split finger and really just let it go. You're not trying to throw a strike. You're just throwing that thing and letting it work.
Runner on first, 2 outs. The 1-1. Hit on the ground to second base. A bit of a run to his left for Jimenez. He picks it up, throws on to first, and ends the inning. Around the hit batter, a scoreless frame for Yariel Rodriguez. He leaves one on, and at the middle of the 8th, it's 8-1 for the Braves. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk. A game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15.
What's up, baseball fans? It's an interleague matchup today. The Toronto Blue Jays host the Atlanta Braves at the Sky Dome. Thank you for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Go Jays, go! It's going to be a great game, and we are so thankful that you chose to hang out here on Toronto Sports Insider. Cheers, baseball fans! Thank you so much for hanging out with us during the Blue Jays game today. Now's the time. I just had to stop the show during our commercial break and say thank you. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us. And we're doing big things with SickKids Hospital in Toronto. Right now, we are getting ready for our Playoff Pulse campaign. We are live for our Playoff Pulse campaign, celebrating the NHL and NBA playoffs. And remember, last October, we did every game of the MLB playoffs, and we're going to do it again, hopefully this year, with our Blue Jays in the hunt for that beautiful trophy in October or November, depending on when the series ends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for supporting our mission to support SickKids Hospital and the great work that they do at that amazing place in our home, downtown Toronto. We'll see you back in the chat. Cheers, Insiders. Let's go, Blue Jays.
Major League Baseball went 7 once last year. The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, he's looked really good. And we were talking about first pitch strikes with Yariel Rodriguez, but he's thrown a lot of first pitch strikes.
The 1-1. Line to third, caught just above the dirt by Austin Riley. 1 out. With that quick out, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Blue Jays enter today leading the AL East 9-7. The Yankees 8-7. The Red Sox 8-9. Tampa Bay is 7-8, and the Orioles 6-9. Braves last in the NL East entering today 4-11. Pitch to Alan Rodin, called a strike, 0-1.
Ben, do you think they look like a 4-11 team tonight?
They don't. I think they're a team that could easily find itself in the playoff picture by the end of the year. The 0-1. Rodin takes inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
You'd have to imagine that the Phillies are in first place for the majority of this season.
Although the Mets are in first right now.
Well, eventually when everything gets ironed out.
The 1-1. Inside 2-1. Phillies did win the division last year.
So if they want to get back in, I mean, it's going to be a dogfight. There's 3 really good teams in that division, the Braves, the Mets, and the Phillies.
The 2-1. Downstairs, ball 3. It's 15 games into the year, and I do feel confident in the Braves to make the playoffs. I do think this does hurt them a fair bit in terms of winning the division. Just to get behind by 6 games to the Mets and 5 to the Phillies this early on. But again, a lot of baseball left. 3-1 is hit off the end of the bat. A bouncer that's going to sneak through down the left field line. A base hit. Rodin around first. He'll stop there. Thought about second, but Eli White flips it in. He beat the shift. Austin Riley was nowhere to be seen as that ball bounced past third base.
Yeah, that was a nice piece of hitting. That fastball from Holmes was way off the plate. Probably 3 balls off the plate outside. And Alan Rodin just stuck the bat out, basically. Austin Riley was playing where the shortstop normally would play. Pretty nice piece of hitting there from Alan Rodin.
That ball was deep when he swung. The first bounce was in foul territory before it rolled back fair. Now the pitch to Miles Straw, called a strike. Rodin on first, Straw at the plate. The only 2 guys with a hit for the Blue Jays today. 8-1 Atlanta. Bottom of the 8th with 1 out. The 0-1. Hit back foul, 0-2.
Miles Straw now hitting .385. Small sample.
Hits in 7 straight games that he's played. .02. Poked foul, really late swing decision from Straw. Just laid the bat out there and fought it away.
Yeah, he was just trying to stay alive there. A really awkward swing, almost an awkward half swing, intentionally fouling that ball off.
Right-handed hitting Straw near the plate. And here's another 0-2. Down and away, ball 1.
You see the bat that Miles Straw is using? No, we're not going to get into that conversation right now. He did hit a home run earlier in this ball game.
It's a torpedo bat. The 1-2, down and away, 2-2. Hey, the Yankees have hit 4 solo shots tonight, so talk about the torpedo bat all you want.
I promised you last week we're not talking about that anymore.
2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3.
Just good takes from Miles Straw. Just really confident up there right now. And when he gets a tough pitch, like earlier on in this at-bat, just tries to foul it off. Couldn't really do anything with that pitch, but just a confident guy in that batter's box right now.
Faces a full count offering and takes it down and away, ball 4. Worked his way from 0-2 to a walk. Rodin up to second, Straw down to first, and Holmes' day could be coming to a close soon.
Miles Straw wanted nothing to do with that cutter off the plate outside. A really good at-bat.
Mound meeting right now. The first time that Grant Holmes has really been in any trouble today. Rick Kranitz is slowly walking out there to talk to Grant Holmes.
I told you my Philadelphia Phillies submarine story, right? Where the Phillies tried to turn me into a submarine pitcher in spring training. Rick Kranitz was the guy that worked with me every single day trying to teach me how to submarine.
Well, he's having more success these days.
It did not work. Great guy, though.
Kranitz walking off the hill Nathan Lucas about to hit. And some pretty crazy news put out by Sportsnet's Hazel May about 15 minutes ago. Nathan Lucas is batting right now. His wife, Taylor, is in labor with their second child, a baby boy. Taylor is giving birth in Arizona, and Lucas is trying to get updates as the game goes on. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike one. Nathan already has a daughter and about to welcome a baby boy, so best wishes, best of luck to both of them.
Boy and a girl, there you go. Perfect mix.
Lucas up with runners on first and second, one out. 8-1 Braves, bottom of the eighth, the pitch. Hit on the ground, a bouncer to second, picked up Albies, backhand flip to second for one, throw to first not in time. Fielder's choice for Lucas, Roden up to third, runners on the corners, 2 outs.
That was a really nice play from Ozzie Albies at second base. I thought he would just take the sure out at first base, but he gets Miles Straw sliding into second base. Really athletic over there.
And that flip over to second, the last out that Grant Holmes gets today. Brian Snitker strolling out to the mound for a pitching change, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 8-1 Braves, first and third for the Blue Jays, 2 outs, bottom 8. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's take a quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We'll start in the NHL. The regular season winding down. Only a handful of games remain in the regular season for all teams. Tonight, 6 games on the calendar. We have 3 Canadian teams in action, including the Canadiens. Montreal taking on Chicago in an original 6 matchup tonight. Currently tied 2-2 in the third period. Much discussed 2024 Habs draft pick Ivan Demidov making his NHL debut tonight. He assisted on the Habs' first goal, scored the second himself. So great stuff from the rookies so far. It's the second youngest player in Canadiens history to score in his NHL debut, behind just Mario Tremblay in 1974. If Chris Leroux's Habs win in any fashion tonight, regulation or otherwise, they will clinch the second wild card and a first-round matchup against Alexander Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. We also have the Rangers taking on the Panthers tonight, currently tied at 3, end of the second period. In Sunrise, the Cats getting Sam Bennett back from injury. The 28-year-old center was initially expected to miss the rest of the regular season, but he is in there tonight after not playing since the 5th of April. The Panthers entered play tonight just 2 points back of the Lightning in the Atlantic, so if they lose in regulation tonight and the third period is coming up, they would officially finish third in the division. The Bolts are off tonight, so some seeding on the line. And later on tonight, we have the Kings taking on the Oilers. A playoff preview. These two teams will play each other in the first round this season for the 4th straight year. Tonight, this game will go 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, so just over an hour. The Oilers, we now know, will be without Mattias Ekholm in that series, as the Swedish defenseman will miss at least the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's directly from Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch earlier this week. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action right here at the Rogers Center. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris Leroux.
Thank you, Joe. The southpaw reliever Aaron Bummer on the mound to go up against switch hitter Tyler Heineman. He turns him around to bat right-handed with runners on first and third and 2 outs, bottom 8. 8-1 for the Braves. Bummer, the former White Sox, deals home, and Heineman smacks it down the left field line, a base hit. In to score, Roden. Around second base, headed to third is Lucas. Heineman into second. Lucas gets the wave to the plate. He'll score with a slide. It's a 2-run double for Tyler Heineman, and it's 8-3.
Well, we've been singing Miles Straw's praises tonight, but how about Tyler Heineman? 10 for 22 now this season, and he just missed a home run earlier in this ballgame. He is really swinging the bat well right now.
10th hit of the season for Heineman. In his 22nd at-bat of the year, he has been hanging around 500 in the early stages of this campaign. Bo Bichette up to the plate, 0 for 3 today, but entered today leading the American League in hits with 22. The pitch, called strike.
He missed that home run in his last at-bat by about 5 feet.
Hit it out to center field. Harris was holding a hand on the wall as he caught it. The 0-1. Swing and a miss.
And that's a big double. 2 RBIs, 8-3 ball game now. This game's not over yet.
Blue Jays would love to add 1 or 2 more this inning, though. 2 outs, bottom 8. Bummer rocks and offers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bichette set down. That'll do it for the inning. The Blue Jays get a pair on the 2-run double by Tyler Heineman. 8-3 game as we go to the 9th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
80s neon blossoms are in full bloom on the SiriusXM app, featuring feel-good hits from icons like Cyndi Lauper, Whitney Houston, and Michael Jackson. To the timeless, breezy beats of the B-52s, Blondie, and more. This exclusive 80s on 8 springtime mix will have you walking on sunshine all season long. Just search Neon Blossoms on the SiriusXM app.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
I'm John Paul Morosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Hear our conversations with Hall of Famers about the challenges they overcame on the journey to baseball immortality.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
I used to go to bed crying. They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Say you will. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. 9th inning starts with a strike to Stuart Fairchild out of the hand of Yariel Rodriguez. 8-3, the Braves lead the Blue Jays. Toronto scratching a couple back on Tyler Heineman's 2-run double in the bottom of the 8th. Now the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Fourth time up today for Fairchild, 0-for-3 with a strikeout. The 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
How about that breaking ball? Slider on the outside part. Fairchild with a really awkward swing. That's a good pitch. That's a pitch that he needs to harness and throw more often in the strike zone.
Really his main out pitch, it felt like last year, was that slider.
That one was really tight, lots of depth.
1-2. Down and in. Looked like the split finger there. It was 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's got really good stuff. Like I said last inning, he just has to throw strikes, especially strike 1. That split finger had a ton of movement on it.
Rodriguez sets the 2-2. Line to center field. Hanging up, Straw jogging back toward left center, makes the catch. Reaching up to snare it. 1 out. We discussed it a bit last inning, but the question has never been, does Yariel Rodriguez have the stuff to get major league hitters out? It's just about harnessing and using that stuff effectively. 1 down, shortstop Nick Allen taps the plate and looks out to the mound where Rodriguez is set. Right on right, the pitch. A little sinking liner off the handle. 1 hops to Jimenez. Snap throw to first in time. 2 down. Tougher play than it looked. That ball probably about 12, 15 feet in the air, going slowly out to second. And it took a nice transfer and throw from Jimenez to retire him.
And a ton of spin on that baseball. I mean, if anybody can do it, it's Andres Jimenez, the Platinum Glove winner.
Jimenez goes to the scouting card in his back pocket and now takes a step toward right field, although he's still playing more up the middle with a right-handed hitter, Eli White up the pitch. Just outside with a slider, ball 1.
And if you go to Yariel Rodriguez's last season in Japan with the Chunichi Dragons, he appeared in 56 ball games and had an ERA of 1.48. It's in there. He can do it.
Here's 1-0. Swing and a grounder, foul, just wide of the third base bag, 1-1.
I think there's just a little bit too much going on in the head of Yariel Rodriguez. It's the big leagues. This is only his second year in the big leagues. There's an element of maybe trying to do too much, not letting his natural ability work. I think once he gets more comfortable, it'll really start to flow for him.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Blew 96 by him, 1-2.
Yeah, there it is. A lot of life on that fastball through the strike zone at the top of the strike zone.
2 down, bases empty, top of the ninth. 8-3 for the Braves. Rodriguez deals. Called, strike 3, 97 at the knees. 2 scoreless innings for Yariel Rodriguez. The Blue Jays, though, have a big mountain to climb as we go to the bottom of the ninth. They need 5 to tie, 6 to win it. 8-3 Braves. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays game. We really appreciate you being here, chatting it up every single game. We're live 1 through 162 right here on Toronto Sports Insider. You won't miss any of the action. Every pitch, every home run, every big play by our Blue Jays, whether it's at the Dome or on the road, we're here and we're hanging out together, cheering them on. Now let's get back to the baseball. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell. And welcome to this awesome community. Now keep it classy, and we'll see you back in the chat.
slider away off the plate and then just tied up Andres Jimenez with a good sinker on the inside part of the plate. He just hit a weak ground ball to Ozzie Albies out there at second.
So the Braves an out away from a series opening win. 8-3 is the score. Runner on third. And the pitch to Ernie Clement. Called the strike. Clement 0 for 3 today, although a little unlucky. Lined the ball to third in the 8th inning. 0-1. Hit foul, 0-2. Braves only out hitting the Blue Jays by 2 hits, 6-4, but 3 home runs have powered Atlanta to the lead. 2 down, the 0-2. Hit foul. Clement keeps this game alive by rolling one over toward the Blue Jay dugout.
A couple of big bombs, too. Austin Riley ran into a couple. Sean Murphy.
The shallowest home run was 411 feet for the Braves. The 0-2. Hit foul toward the first base dugout. And Clement and Bummer will do it again.
Austin Riley hit one almost 450 feet for his 3-run blast.
Santander off third, 2 outs, bottom 9, and the 0-2 is outside. Ball 1. Clement waggles the bat above his right shoulder, staring out at the lefty Aaron Bummer. And the 1-2. Swinging a line drive, left field, base hit. Santander jogs home. Clement stumbling around first, goes back to the bag. It wasn't a guaranteed double anyway. He'll stop with an RBI single. It's 8-4.
Yeah, that's the smart move from Ernie Clement over there at first base. Eli White got to that baseball down the line really quickly and got it into Ozzie Albies at second base, but no need to take that extra base. 2 outs. You're down by 4 now. Your run is essentially meaningless.
Until the Blue Jays put 3 guys on base and have the tying run at the plate, it's just about getting on and not getting out. Pitch to Alan Rodin. Lined foul, third base side, 0-1. Eight to 4 for the Braves. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Left on left, the pitch. Hit foul, 0-2.
And Matt Olson's not holding Ernie Clement on at first base. I would imagine Ernie Clement's not going anywhere.
And if he did, they'd probably let him.
Right.
Huge lead for Clement. Takes off on the 0-2, and it's hit foul. He'll have to go back.
Ernie Clement did, in fact, try to steal second base. Not a stolen base, though, at that point.
They'd rule it defensive indifference. All he's doing there is eliminating one force. He'll score on a single if he's there, but that down by 4 truly doesn't even matter that much. Clement likely to take off again. 2 outs and 0-2 count. Bummer's pitch. High, ball 1, and Clement will take second on defensive indifference. Blue Jays trailed 8-0 at one point. It's 8-4, but there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Clement on second, the 1-2 to Rodin. Popped up, foul territory, back of third. Riley over near the netting, leaps into it. Did he make the catch? No. He did grab it, but it hit the netting first. Heck of a play from Riley, and we'll do it again.
Yeah, I believe the ball hit the netting and kind of rolled down into his glove. It's actually a miracle that he caught that baseball.
Still very impressive.
Oh, he didn't catch it.
But he sold it pretty well. He reached behind him as he fell into the netting, picked it up. But it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count still. 2 outs. Bummer kicks and offers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's the ball game. Early offense powers the Braves to an 8-4 victory to open up the series.
Yeah, and Easton Lucas tonight just didn't have the good stuff that we have seen in his 2 previous starts. He didn't have the command of the fastball, didn't quite have the command of those off-speed pitches, specifically the changeup. He'll be better next time. I'm sure him and Pete Walker will work on getting that extension out front on that changeup, and most importantly, throwing strike 1 with that fastball.
Braves 8, Blue Jays 4. We're going to take a quick step aside, wrap this one up, and get you over to Blue Jays Talk in just a moment. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind. When you always feel like part of the show. On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit bluejays.com.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these?
What is up, insiders? All right. The Blue Jays game is done. Where is my controller? Oh my gosh, turn this light off. I am recording like crazy. There it is. The Blue Jays got crushed tonight. Oh, wow. That's really dark. Okay, well, I mean, it works. It's picking back up here. See that on YouTube. Okay. What's up, insiders? The Blue Jays get absolutely demolished this evening, but they gave it a little bit of a fight there, 8-4. I apologize for the audio issues, team. As you can see, I'm recording some stuff with a guy over in England right now, and just got done with a huge meeting as well for work, so I apologize. But we're going to get that plaque right there. We're going to get the plaque. Let's take it to Blue Jays Talk. We'll let it run for as long as the Blue Jays Talk will continue. Cheers, insiders. Some shout-outs coming on the SOP episode that will run tomorrow. A big shout out to SOP True. Thanks for taking a bet on me, dude. Professional player of a video game, top 200 in the world, and he's like, this old man. True, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, and we are going to keep changing the world with soccer, with TSI. Let's go. Cheers, insiders and Blue Jays fans. Rod, Carmen, Stefan, Jansen, everybody else that I'm missing in the chat, Jeff Mitterling. I mean, I got to pull it up now that I'm here. Damian Lillard as well. We got Damian Lillard in the chat tonight, y'all. Keep it up there. Rob as well. Man, Rob in New Zealand. Thank you for hanging out with us, Rob. Brad Smith as well. Dude, Brad's a beast. MJR. Amiro, thank you for saying where's the audio. That's actually the chat that caught my attention while I was live over here on SOP. All right, go Jays, go Leafs, go. A lot of cool stuff coming up in the playoff polls. Stack, my man on Fiverr, he's rendering the graphics that you all voted on. Option number 1, it's coming tomorrow. We'll start getting the stuff over with Jelly. Joe just responded. And the cameos are on their way. Let's go, insiders. Let's make a big difference in the playoff pulse campaign. Thank you, Blue Jays fans. We'll see you tomorrow. Go Jays, go.
That tonight. Blue Jays lose 8-4 final. 8 runs on 6 hits for the Braves. No errors. They left 1 on base. 4 runs on 5 hits for the Blue Jays. No errors. They left 2 on base. Grant Holmes with the win is 1-1. Easton Lucas with the loss is 2-1. No save today. Game took 2 hours and 16 minutes in front of 21,500. With the win, the Braves are 5-11. With the loss, the Blue Jays are 9-8. We are gearing up for a great pitching matchup in a little under 24 hours back at Rogers Center. Kevin Gausman takes on Spencer Schwellenbach. Should be a ton of fun as 2 premier hurlers go at it in Game 2 of this series. We hope to see you then. 7:07 Eastern, 4:07 Pacific is the time of first pitch. For our technical directors, Tom Young, Christian Giannini, and Derek Brandeo, our producer, Nick Blackmore, our host, Joe Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope to see you tomorrow, and stick around. Blue Jays Talk with Joe Ali starts right now.
Well, people, not the way I'm guessing the Jays were hoping Vladdy Day would go. As of all the baseball games ever played, that was certainly one of them, I suppose. Probably about, 2.5 hours of our lives we won't get back. But I don't know. It was a pretty celebratory, triumphant mood down at the presser earlier this morning. I was able to head down there. People were using words like franchise-defining, legacy-changing, making history. And, yeah, that got, sucked right out of the dome after Austin Riley's first home run of the day. The Jays lose to open this 3-game series on a 6-game homestand, 8-4. The final score. So maybe a little more respectable after some late runs, but still a loss nonetheless. You're listening to Jays Talk, of course. Joe Ali with you. We're live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. You can give us a call. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text me as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line is always open. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. You don't only have to text in about this game, although I'm sure you want to vent. You certainly are free to do so, whether you text or call. Would love to hear from you guys, but also if you want to give your thoughts on the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. presser, your thoughts on what Edward Rogers had to say, on what Mark Shapiro had to say, Ross Atkins, Vladdy himself, certainly taking a number of questions today. So you can, again, reach me, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell, and the People's Text line, 590-590, name and location. Before we get started tonight, of course, I am not Blair and Barker, and the deal usually is, for those who listen regularly, is that B&B do the weekday games that start at, 7 or 8 Eastern, and I do the really late games to give them a bit of a break. They do have a daily 2-hour show after all, and then I also do the weekend games. The reason it is me today and not B&B is because, as some of you may have heard via Blair earlier today, Kevin's mom unfortunately passed away this past weekend. So Kevin back in the States to be with his family. And I think I speak for all of my colleagues, but all of you guys as well, when I say, Kevin, we're thinking of you, man. We love you, Hazel, Chase, and the rest of your family. So, please take all the time you need. We'll take care of whatever needs to be taken care of back in Toronto. This is just, a radio show podcast, but you be with your family, and we hope all is well. And our condolences, our respects go out to the Barker family, of course. But lots for us to discuss today. The biggest signing in the history of the franchise being made official today, as I said earlier, the biggest signing in the history of Toronto sports, period. Probably more accurate to say the biggest signing in Canadian sports history. And then on top of that, we did have something resembling a baseball game that was played down here tonight. So I suppose we should get to that first, even though, I don't know, how much is there really to say when the Blue Jays get torched 8-0 and make it a little more respectable, 8-4 the final score. But all right, let's talk about Easton Lucas to start, right? 5 innings, 6 hits, 8 runs, all of which were earned, 4 walks as well, only 3 strikeouts. He gave up 3 bombs, and they were monster bombs. They were not cheap home runs. They were absolute missiles. He threw 87 pitches, 60 of them were strikes. He faced 23 batters in those 5 innings of work. The home run from Sean Murphy, changeup, just floats it over the edge. Murphy goes out to get it. Not where you want to leave that ball. To Austin Riley, the first home run at least. Lucas leaving a 93-mile-an-hour heater. Upper middle of the zone. Riley just destroys that baseball. And then the second home run from Riley. Good Lord. 110 miles an hour off the bat. 444 feet from Riley for his second bomb of the day. A 3-run shot. Just a lot of leadoff base runners. Whether it was hard contact or a walk. And there were 4 walks. I mean, it's funny because Lucas is in every way your 5th starter. I mean, coming into today, he had given you 10 1/3 innings of scoreless ball after not having started a game in his career 2 months ago-ish, right? So I think it was pretty likely that was already an improbable start to a career as it stood. But while Lucas had not looked like just, quote-unquote, a fifth starter over those 10 and a third. He really looked like a guy who only had 2 career starts tonight. I mean, the velo on the fastball, sneaky good velo on the fastball, but that was pretty much it, right? I mean, he couldn't command the fastball at all. All the breaking stuff, all the off-speed stuff did not look good, especially that changeup, as Chris LaRue was saying during the game, did not look good as well. Walks galore, hard contact. I mean, just not great. Apropos of nothing, if you are curious about the latest with Max Scherzer, John Schneider did say today that he is still feeling soreness after throwing recently and is going to visit with a doctor in the coming days. So I'm guessing we're not going to see Scherzer anytime soon. But again, like, the offense is quiet, right? The offense is quiet. When you give up 8 earned runs as a starting pitcher, very few offensive outbursts will save you, right? I mean, it's still, for me, largely on Lucas, unfortunately for him. But, I mean, my goodness, you got to start hitting here, right? I mean, look, if you look at the out-of-town scoreboards, right, we'll do this again after the break, but every single starting member of 1 through 9 for the Rays had at least 1 RBI, and a whole bunch of them had multiple RBIs. I kind of stopped checking on the game. It was 14-1 Rays at one point. I mean, I stopped checking on it, but, I mean, I'm not even asking for that. Truly, I am just a boy asking a team to score him some runs. Okay? Get Miles Straw some help, for God's sake. I mean, I think after a 9-7 start coming into tonight, obviously 9-8 now after this game, you probably were in a vacuum. And nothing is in a vacuum, I know, but you probably were at least a little satisfied with the team, regardless of the hitting. And I say satisfied, not happy, just to be clear, because a 9-7 start and sole possession of first place, you know, a couple weeks into April is nothing to sneeze at, but man, you just can't fail to record even 1 hit until the bottom of the 6th inning. And now that hit was a Miles Straw home run, the 7th of his career, so he is not going down to the minors anytime soon, not even when Varsha returns, and we'll get to that before we say goodbye. But, I mean, Straw broke up a no-hitter, and I respect Grant Holmes, but this is a guy who was stretched out into a starter for the first time in his career less than a year ago. That is not ideal. I mean, no matter how happy I am for Straw, I still think the big boys will hit like the big boys eventually, but it is objectively funny that Miles Straw and Tyler Heineman both have hit home runs before either Bo or Vladdy have done so. I mean, Miles Straw does look like he's using a torpedo bat, so if it's helping him, just give torpedo bats to everyone. It did not have David Schneider, so, you know, maybe it really is quite, you know, we hear like people like the commissioner and John Schneider has said this, and like when the Yankees were doing it, Aaron Boone was being asked about this, and everyone who uses torpedo bats basically is very careful to say, oh, it's not like a cure-all. It's not going to fix everything. But gosh, I mean, the state of the Blue Jays offense. Order every member of the Blue Jays torpedo bats at this point, because, I mean, they're not doing squat until the end of the game when things just don't really matter anymore. 416-870-0590. 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Ryan in Innisfil. Ryan, welcome to J-Stock. What's on your mind?
Not a whole lot, Show. How are you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I mean, you know what? I was hoping for a better results after Vladdy Day got off to a good start earlier this morning, but I guess that was not to be, eh?
It's too nice for us people in Toronto for good things to be double entendres in one day. We have to take it one thing at a time. First thing I want to say today, though, is Barker, take all the time you need. Yep. Rest in peace, Mama Barks. Sucks. Take all the time you need, buddy. Show you rock. You'll fill it just fine. But yeah, rest in peace. I hope you're doing okay, buddy. Sorry for all your family. Second thing I want to talk about is kind of what you kind of led off with the whole theme of the day was, when is it time to not sort of hit the panic button, but at the same time, like, when do we get worried about the top of the lineup? Because, like, literally the only reason we are as good as we are right now as a team is our pitching staff in the bottom of the lineup. And I don't know if I can do another season like that, man. Another 2023, just watching this staff carve and have them lose all the time. Like, because that year we could have had 5 Cy Young winners. Like, I can't do that again, man. So I don't exactly know when they're like, maybe we got to switch off things. Maybe we have to make the tough move. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, Vladdy, I'm so happy we signed you, buddy. I'm happy you want to be here, but it needs to be more, dude. We can't just be living off nostalgia of that MVP season. And then Santander, I know he always starts terrible in April, so I'm just going to leave it until May. if it's still bad in May, I'm calling again and talking about it because this is not good. It's not freaking good at all. If those three bats, if Bo, Vladdy, and Santander were even just 50% as good as they are currently, we might be almost an undefeated baseball team. Like, this is a good ball team if the names on the piece of paper do what the names on the piece of paper are supposed to do. So I don't know when we hit the panic button. Shout out the pitching staff. Shout out the bullpen. Shout out everyone in this lineup except the top three. I can't even say that about Bo because he's playing great too. Vladdy and Santander, let's take it up, guys. It's time now. It's time now. You've had a couple weeks. You had a whole spring training. Enough's enough. You got your money. It's no longer a distraction. That cannot be an excuse anymore. Hit the goddamn cover off the baseball, and let's go win some baseball games like we should. That's all I got today, man.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate the call. Thanks for joining us here on JSOC as always. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to – I think I committed personally to not overreacting, and maybe people who have listened to the handful of JSOCs I've done this year probably would disagree with this, but that I have not overreacted to certain things. So, fair, hand up. But I tried to commit at the very least to not overreacting to things until May. And Ryan did allude to that, right? And I mean, I think that's not necessarily a thing I made up. I mean, even Scherzer, I want to say, yeah, it was Scherzer who said this. Maybe it was on the Zoom call he did when he signed with the team a number of months ago. And yeah, I mean, I guess take what Scherzer says with a grain of salt considering how he's been used so far this year. But I don't know. I think many people feel it takes until May, which is like roughly a month. There's a little over a month, given that the season starts at the end of March, but a little over a month, 5 weeks, 5.5 weeks, maybe for being generous, of seeing the team and knowing what they are. That's not to say you can't make any conclusions about a team until May. I think you certainly can be concerned about where the offense is. I am absolutely a little concerned, but I mean, if they were to turn things around in a big way between now and the end of April, I think we'd all just forget about the poor start offensively in a hurry. Now, I mean, people are probably screaming at their radio saying, well, they haven't shown any signs of turning things around anytime soon. All right, you know what? Fair. But I mean, there were some moments in this ball game that probably could have turned things in a hurry. I mean, gosh, I don't know about you guys. I thought Vladdy got that ball on the first AV of the game. He obviously didn't, so, you can't really view it as a moral victory or a silver lining or anything like that. I think if they keep having good ABs, the results will come. But I'm committing to not sounding the panic button yet, the alarm, until, May, probably, because we already knew it was going to be a tough schedule. I mean, coming up next, you got 2 more games against the Braves. The Mariners are never easy outs. The Astros, the Yankees, and then the Red Sox again have you going all the way through May. If they're still really scuffling come that Boston series again, which takes you to, I think the series ends on May 1st, then I think there's reason to be concerned. But I think until then, for me, I want to see a little bit more from the offense. I am pretty pleased, all things considered, with parts of the bottom of the order. But I mean, you're going to live and die, as every team will, on the performance of your top 3 bats. And 1 home run from Bo, Vladdy, and Santander ain't going to cut it, right? I still can't believe we live in a world. I said this already, but I still can't believe we live in a world where Miles Straw and Tyler Heineman have more home runs individually than Bo or Vladdy, and are both tied with Anthony Santander, who we can only really say that about because he got on the board against the Orioles just a couple nights ago. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Halifax. Eric joining us from Halifax. Eric, what's on your mind? Welcome to J-Stock.
Well, first of all, I thought that was very touching when they put the jersey on Guerrero. They had no other choice but to do what they did, whether they did it today, last week, or last month, or whatever. If they hadn't assigned him, all hell would have broken loose in Toronto. Secondly, my deepest sympathy to Kevin's mom. I want Kevin to be strong and just don't give up. Hang in there. I'm sure she's probably going to a lot better place than we are right now. And as far as I turned 76 today.
Happy birthday.
My wish was that the Blue Jays would win tonight. Well, when I turn 77 next year, I'll have that same wish.
All right.
Hoping that the Blue Jays come true for me. And like I said on the Barker show, pitching is going to be not their downfall, but if their pitching could hold up, because I think they got the bats, but if their pitching can hold up, I think they can make a little bit of noise in that division. That's all I have to say for now.
All right, Eric, happy birthday again. Thanks for joining us here on Jays Talk. Let's hope that on April 14th, 2026, when this schedule comes out, you call back, and hopefully the Jays have won that game, whether it is myself or Blair taking your call. But hey, happy birthday, man. Happy 76th. Look, let's talk about Vladdy, as Eric did bring that up. First of all, I did have the opportunity to attend the presser earlier this morning. I was sitting with Lindsey Dunn, Sportsnet's David Singh, and actually I was sitting with our old pal, Rob Wong. It was nice to sit and hang with one of the first guys I ever hosted Jays Talk with. That was fun, but boy, you have never seen that room. It's a pretty small room, all things considered, but you have never seen that place as busy as it was today. Like, every member of the media was there. Rogers, Bell, independent outlets. Vladdy had 2 rows of family there, including his wife and daughter, cousins, brothers. His agents were there. There were some teammates there as well. I think I spotted George Springer walk in first, Jose Barrios, Anthony Santander, and Andres Jimenez all came in. Actually, when he signed the contract, when he physically signed the contract with Ross Atkins and then Ed Rogers, they were like hooting and hollering in the corner like you'd kind of expect your boys to do. So that was kind of fun. And I actually honestly was kind of surprised that Santander and Jimenez, who have been Vladdy's teammates for all of a couple of months, were out there giving him all the support. I mean, I asked Chris LaRue this. I was just curious, as someone who has spent time in Major League Clubhouse. He was a pitcher, not a position player, but still. I asked Chris, and he said, it's not surprising. Not at all. I mean, you bond pretty quickly when it comes to a big league clubhouse, apparently. So doubly so when you're a likable person like Vladdy. So good stuff today. In terms of substance, right? I'm not sure there was a lot we didn't already hear from Vladdy at the presser. I mean, admittedly, I think it was cool generally from a fan perspective to hear him say the country has shown him a lot of love, so he wants to show them love back. Canada, his home, that he was born here. We heard from Edward Rogers, who we rarely hear from, and he was asked a number of questions, probably more questions to him than to anyone else, including Vladdy. I mean, I did like hearing Ed say that the ROI in a contract like this would be a World Series win. And I looked over to Vladdy. I mean, he was sitting right next to him, but I looked over to Vladdy when he said that, and the $500 million man was nodding along. So you have to believe he feels the same way. There just aren't many people who have played their entire careers as a Toronto Blue Jay. So many of our favorite Blue Jays over the years either started or ended their careers elsewhere, right? I mean, Roberto Alomar, Roy Halladay, Carlos Delgado, Jose Bautista, Tony Fernandez played for a bunch of different teams, George Bell as well, even Dave Stieb. I know some people might say this doesn't count, but I mean, even Dave Stieb pitched like 3 or 4 games for the White Sox, the very end of his career. So, I mean, pretty cool that Vladdy will be here until he's 39, 40 years old. We'll see how that contract ages, certainly. I mean, gosh, if I'm still doing Jays Talk in 14 years, we can have that conversation. But I suppose the Steve thing could still happen, right? Like where he plays for another team for a handful of games at the very end. But, I mean, I don't know. We won't know that until 14 years from now. 416-870-0590. 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go back to the phones before we take a quick break. Let's go to Nicholas on the 427. Nicholas, welcome to Jays Talk. What's on your mind?
Hi, show. It's me, Vince, and my son Nicholas here.
Okay.
I'll turn it over to Nicholas for a couple comments on the game, and then I have some comments on the stadium.
Go ahead.
So the Jays hit the ball hard, but when they hit it hard at the wall, at the warning track, the Braves just caught it. So
they sure did, Nicholas. That's very true. Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
What's up, Vince?
And then you know what? We didn't with other things, but I thought I like the design. I like how they changed the shape of the seats. The sight lines are good. Some new bars and restaurants. I'd like the snack prices to come down a little bit, but overall, good experience at the ballpark this evening.
All right, Nicholas and Vince, thanks for calling in. Nicholas, always call back whenever you want, as many times as you want over the next 14 years. Yeah, well, you can definitely call in however many times you like. Hey, Nicholas mentioned hard hit balls. And that's a pretty perfect segue to something I did want to get to before we take a quick break here. I actually wanted to spend a couple minutes on Heineman talk. Heine talk. Actually, no, that's a PG program. I can't say that. He did look good, all things considered today. He narrowly misses a home run, and then he smashes a 2-run double in the bottom of the 8th inning off of Bummer. I mean, I swear that is one of only a handful of times this entire season that a Blue Jay has swung the bat and scored multiple runs. So good for him. I mean, he is somehow hanging around hitting 500. After the double-off bummer, Heineman he's hitting 455 after doubling off bummer. That is truly insane, honestly. Like, I think most of us, when we were doing the roster discussions, I mean, at the end of the spring, it's kind of like Kirk is your number one catcher, and then like catcher 2 was the name I think most people put in there. And I hand up again, I was guilty of saying, yeah, I mean, Heineman is the guy they clearly like. They've brought him back through the organization multiple times. So, how much can you really expect if Kirk is going to be catching 110, 115 games this season? But Heineman has been one of the more surprising developments in the early goings of the season. I mean, this is from Sportsnet television producer extraordinaire Chris Black at Down to Black on X. Here are Heineman's hardest hit balls in play so far. In his career, I should say. Okay, so April 6th, 2025. So what, like a handful of days ago, 104.5 miles an hour off the bat. Before this, a couple of years ago, June 1st, 2023, 103.6 miles an hour off the bat. Number 3, 103.4 miles an hour off the bat. That was on April 10th, 2025. That was a couple of days ago as well. And then tonight, 103.2 miles an hour off the bat. I mean, whatever he's doing, however he spent his offseason, I don't know if he's been eating more Wheaties or if maybe his feet are a little further apart near the plate, but he has been phenomenal. And again, in a very, very super small sample size. But, I mean, if this keeps up, and Kirk had a pretty good game the other day, so I'm not sure this is the right moment for Kirk slander. But, I mean, if this keeps up, I got to imagine the Texan calls will get about, should Heineman play more than Kirk? Should, instead of it being 6-1 in a 7-game span, should it be 5-2? Should it be 4-3? I don't think we'll ever get to 4-3, honestly. But I can see a world if Heineman keeps it up, if they reward him by giving him a couple more ABs. Couldn't you? I mean, he's been so good offensively, and he's been pretty good defensively, all things considered as well, when it comes to holding runners and throwing runners out. I mean, that certainly goes alongside having pitching staffs that have been pretty good so far this season, and even Heineman's work with the relievers has looked great. So, I mean, maybe that's something we're going to keep talking about. But just, a quick note. I'm not sure it's something we need to spend too much time on, but let's keep monitoring how Heineman continues to do throughout the season. All right, let's take a quick break here, and then let's go back to the text line, 590-590, name and location, which we haven't done yet, and we'll go back to the phones to see a couple people on hold here. So stay on the line, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. We'll go back to the phones as well, talk a little more about the offense. We can talk about Easton Lucas if you want, and certainly we can talk about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. signing his 14-year, $500 million deal officially in front of the assembled media earlier this afternoon. All right, lots to come. Still here on Jays Talk. We're back in a flash. I'm Show Ali. We're back after this on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
The countdown is on.
Are you ready?
For the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sportsnet.
Strap yourselves in for the best ride in sports.
Feel the intensity rise.
It's time to turn things up a notch.
Be here for all the drama, where one shot, one save, one moment can decide everything. See who will raise hockey's ultimate prize.
Let's get this thing going.
6
16 teams, one champion. The Stanley Cup playoffs begin Saturday on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball. I mean, he's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit bluejays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Hola, soy Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Está escuchando a Toronto Blue Jays Baseball en la radio de Sportsnet.
Yeah, I think having a little bit more intent with what he's doing, and I think understanding there's a little bit more in there, and not being just a really good defender that can run, and understanding that he can hit the ball hard. So he's been such a positive addition to the club, both on the field and in the clubhouse. And I think hopefully he can kind of continue to do that. It's nice when players kind of realize some things. It doesn't really matter what time of their career it is. And again, not asking Miles to hit 25 homers, but I think just taking some shots when he can.
That is Blue Jays manager John Schneider speaking to the media just a few minutes ago. John Schneider talking about Miles Straw, who launched his first home run of the season today. I believe his 7th career home run. So, not a guy who hits a lot of home runs, is largely known for the defensive work. A former Gold Glove winner, has been a very good defensive fill-in for Dalton Varsho, which I think was expected. But, boy, he's been pretty good offensively, and now pretty good. Much like the conversation with Tyler Heineman is relative, right? Is this relative to, like, what Aaron Judge is doing or I don't know, like Shohei Ohtani or Mookie Betts or Jung-Hoo Lee in his hot start to the season for the Giants? Like, no, obviously not. Those are two different kinds of good we talk about when we have conversations about guys like that and guys who are not expected to be massive power contributors, but still a pretty good outing for Miles Straw in a couple of games now after delivering the game winner in Boston and this 7-6 extra innings win the other day, and then certainly tonight as well, despite an 8-4 loss. Welcome back to Jays Talk here on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Show Ali here with you for about 15 more minutes or so. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. We'll go back to the phones in a sec, and we'll go back to the text line, or go to the text line for the first time, 590-590, name and location. The People's text line is always open, but first, let's check the Bet365 standings update. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game is still being played. 19+, play responsibly, Ontario only. So the Orioles, I believe, did not play today, and with our game over, the Yankees game over, and the Red Sox are actually playing the Rays today. That game just went final, so we have the updated standings. The Yankees reclaim first place in the American League East by half a game. They are now 9-7. The Blue Jays are now 9-8, so they're half a game back. The Tampa Bay Rays are 8-8 after absolutely destroying the Boston Red Sox today. They beat the Red Sox 16-1. My God. And the Red Sox are 8-10, and the Orioles didn't play. They are 6-9. That's a Bet365 standings update. By the way, in that Rays-Red Sox game, again, I said earlier I stopped paying attention to it after it got out of hand, but I believe I saw this correctly. Tanner Houck, who was, been pretty good over the course of his career. Pitchers get blown up. That happens. So, maybe something we should remember to apply to Easton Lucas as well, I suppose. But he allowed 12 runs, 11 of which were earned. That is insane. So, I don't know. You talk about should John Schneider have left in Easton Lucas that long? Gosh, Alex Cora, what are you doing, pal? Anyways, that's the Bet365 standings update. All right, let's go back to the phones. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to Shlomo in Scarborough. Shlomo, what's up? Welcome to Jays Talk.
Hey, pal. Yeah, no, I think with the
the energy shifting off of Vlad's contract now, it's intriguing to think about Bo and what potential suitors he can have when we look around the league. I was thinking a bit about this today because obviously Bo's looking pretty good offensively, and if you look at last year as an anomaly and just injuries causing those numbers, and you can consider him one of the most elite bats in baseball with the times he's led the league in hits. And I was thinking, who's our competition to sign the guy? Well, obviously the Yankees, because the Yankees have Volpe there, but Bo's more elite. I was also thinking possibly the Dodgers, because why not? Bo wants to win. He could go there and probably take some deferred money. I was thinking the Giants, because the Giants have been very aggressive at infielders. You see them with Chapman, and you see what they did with Correa, even though they didn't sign him. I was thinking the Red Sox, because Trevor Story is going to be a free agent. And then I was thinking if he's down to move positions to second base, maybe the Cubs and maybe the Phillies. And I think there could be a dark horse in there, too, like someone like the Cards or maybe even Seattle or somebody ends up and goes in on him. And I was wondering what you think our competition is for Bo.
You know, okay, before I let you go, Shlomo, I will only push back. I think those are all possible by all means. So I will only push back on the Giants because I think they just signed Willy Adames, no?
Yeah, but shift somebody to second.
All right.
That's my thought. I don't know. Giants, it's such a war out there. It
is. Yeah.
In the West. The Giants they have a good start right now. If you put Bo in that lineup, it's pretty scary.
Well, let me ask you this too, Shlomo, because I've thrown this around before myself, and I'm curious what other people think, because no one's really ever actually told me what they think on this. But so Corey Seager is the signing in terms of numbers I often look at. I've said this before a number of times. Corey Seager signing 10 years, $325 million with the Rangers, and now at the time that was considered a massive overpay, and maybe it still is, right? But I mean, they won the World Series a couple of years later, so how mad could they possibly be at paying Seager $1 billion and Simeon $1 billion? But I don't know. I kind of wonder if that is, no matter who is going to sign Bo, I kind of wonder if that is the part of the ask, because Seager signed that deal when he was 27, Bo is 27 and will be 27, at least depending if you believe he's going to sign his deal by the end of December, whether it's with the Blue Jays or someone else. I kind of wonder if that's the starting point for someone like Bo Bichette.
I mean, for sure. I mean, that's the basement of the deal, in my opinion, because the market's been reset. You see how wacky these contracts are now with what we had to give Vlad. No disrespect. I'm happy for Vlad. He got his money, but, you know, these kind of numbers weren't getting thrown around when Corey Seager got his money. I think if that deal was done again and times were and the market was where it was now, you'd probably see Corey Seager pass $400 million with how hot he was at the time. You know, like the market's completely shifted. What just happened with Soto and Vlad, it's a whole different ballgame out here. Bo could get paid a lot. He could get paid handsomely, and we're seeing teams lock up younger players sooner for less money to avoid this type of payday. But money in baseball right now is nuts, absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
It's good for the players. Happy to see the money go from the owners to the players, but I wonder if we're seeing another shift or when the lockout comes. But also the money's just worth differently now too than it was when Corey Seager got his money. Like, look how far $100 goes for us here in North America today and what he did 3 years ago.
Yeah, no, Shlomo, I appreciate the call, man. It's a great point. It's true. I mean, how much did we talk about just like the value of deferred money for like Shohei Ohtani when Ohtani deferred like 99% of his contract? It felt like. I think it's true too. I think with just valuations of contracts, for sure. I mean, I think whenever you're looking at a past deal, you have to add on some inflation, like just generally. Even if the big Juan Soto deal and Ohtani and so on, even if Vladdy, certainly you include that too. Even if none of those things had happened, you would still include inflation. Just generally speaking, I would think money wise, just year over year. Again, Seager signed that deal in 22, I want to say, which again, like 3 years ago wasn't that long ago, but still, he got paid a ton of money. I think the other comps too are, let's see, Willy Adames, I brought up already, 7 years, $182 million. Dansby Swanson signed with the Cubs, 7 years, $177 million. Xander Bogaerts got just a boatload of cash from the Padres a couple years ago when he left the Red Sox, 11 years, $280 million. And then you have Trey Turner with the Phillies, 11 years, $300 million. So I got to think because of his age, Bo is probably getting more than Adames and Swanson. and probably something in the ballpark of Bogarts and Turner and Seager as well, right? Seager got one less year, a little bit more money. Turner, again, 11 years, $300 million. Bogarts, 11 years, $280 million. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably the ballpark for Bo. Again, I said this on yesterday's Jays Talk, but I do genuinely believe that ultimately what'll happen is Bo is more likely to stay with the Blue Jays now that Vladdy's under contract, but shortstops, just generally speaking, test the market, right? Now, again, when Ross Atkins spoke last week, when he spoke today, when Vladdy was asked directly at the presser today about Bo, I mean, everyone seems a lot more optimistic about it, certainly than they were prior to Vladdy, but I think and again, you can listen to this interview if you like. It was a pretty good one with Blair Solo today, talking to Ross Atkins after the presser on Blair and Barker, on the longer edition of Blair and Barker. And Blair asked Barker about Bo, and yeah, Atkins said the attention now shifts to him. So I think there's still a good chance it gets done. I just think there was probably no chance it got done if Vladdy wasn't signing with the Blue Jays, but now that's not a problem anymore, right? 590, name and location. Let's go to the text line. I haven't gone to the text line yet. Let's go to the text line. Ryan from Saskatchewan saying, with everything that happened this summer, it's a little funny that Straw has contributed more than Santander has. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it is a little funny, right? Maybe you don't think those kinds of things are funny. I mean, I just think it's like funny in a morbid way almost, because obviously who would have possibly expected, just like again, I know things don't exist in vacuums, but just in a vacuum, who would have guessed that Straw, who is essentially the human emblem for failing to get Roki Sasaki, would be as good as he's been? He's been great. I mean, there's no chance he goes down. Varsho, we heard today from John Schneider, that is closer to returning to the Blue Jays. I mean, pregame, he was said to the assembled media. Hazel had the full tweet if you want to read it, but he said that Varsho played 6 innings in what was essentially an extended spring training game. He was in the outfield, didn't have to make any crazy throws into the gap, still felt good. He's going to hit live BP tomorrow, which is Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, his wife's having a baby, so maybe he'll get some of that new dad strength, so I hope that goes well for the Varsho family, but maybe he'll get that dad strength like Fred Van Vliet got in the NBA Finals. Apparently, the team is hopeful to get him on a rehab assignment this coming weekend with Dunedin, which I gotta think is a good thing. But I mean, still, you talk about who's going down when Varsho comes back maybe in a couple of weeks. I mean, it's not going to be Miles Straw, right? I know many people believe it's going to be Davis Schneider, which is definitely possible. I wonder, and again, Blair and Barker have said this many times, that the handedness is what's keeping Schneider up here. I wonder at what point that no longer matters. Nathan Lucas, speaking of babies, there was another tweet from Hazel during the game that Lucas's wife Taylor in labor right now in Arizona with their second child. So again, I hope all goes well for her and the Lucas family. But as a result of that, I got to imagine like one way or another, he will either be in the minors or he will be put on the paternity list very soon. So I just, again, Schneider, Lucas, someone else, I just have a hard time believing it's Miles Straw the way he's been playing. John from Toronto on the text line, keeping it positive. Huge that Lucas can give us 5 innings in what was a blowout. Keep the big dogs, I imagine the bullpen, fresh for a new game tomorrow. Bottom line is Vlad and Santander, this is what Ryan was talking about, need to each hit a home run in every series from now until September to have a chance. Top-heavy lineups only work if the top is playing like we pay them to. And that's fair. I mean, you get paid the big bucks, you're going to be open to criticism more than someone else. And maybe you might not think that's fair, but that has been a thing in sports forever, right? I mean, like in Toronto, when Matthews doesn't score a goal or Marner's not scoring goals, they get criticized, and rightly so, because they're taking up, however much percentage of the cap. Now, no cap in baseball, but gosh, I mean, it's going to be the same thing. Ruben in Alberta. Appreciate hearing from you, Ruben. Haven't heard from you in a while. Ruben saying, dude, Vladdy's hitting 300 and Bo leads the league in hits. Jeez, I think he's talking about the criticism being levied at Bo and Vladdy. And I mean, look, that's great. Absolutely, that's great. 1,000%. But at the same time, you got to have them hit for power at least. Because this was the other thing, right? I'm glad Ruben brought this up. I think generally speaking, just another low-scoring game brings us back to the idea that teams that don't hit for power, I should say, experience very fine margins of error, right? Like we talked about this a lot over the last 2 games in the sense that when you don't hit, then you make avoidable errors, you're not going to give yourself a chance to win. Like today, the margin of error was maybe something to overcome if Lucas had been able to complete 5 innings, only giving up the 2 home runs and 4 earned runs.
And at 8:59, Royals on Internet 852. 7:05 p.m., Tampa Bay Rays taking the Boston Red Sox. Rays on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 866. Red Sox on Internet 844. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays face the Atlanta Braves. Blue Jays on Sirius 211, XM 178 and Internet 868. Braves on Internet 842. 7:40 p.m., Milwaukee Brewers taking the Detroit Tigers. Brewers on Sirius 119, XM 180 and Internet 856. Tigers on Internet 850. 7:40 p.m., Minnesota Twins face the New York Mets. Twins on Sirius 137, XM 181 and Internet 857. Mets on Internet 858. 7:45 p.m., St. Louis Cardinals taking the Houston Astros. Cardinals on Sirius 138, XM 179 and Internet 865. Astros on Internet 851. 9:40 p.m., San Diego Padres taking the Chicago Cubs. Padres on Sirius 139, XM 182 and Internet 862. Cubs on Internet 845. 10:10 p.m., LA Dodgers face the Colorado Rockies. Dodgers on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 854. Rockies on Internet 849. Spanish feed on Sirius 161, XM 183 and Internet 870. For 24/7 coverage of Major League Baseball, from day one of the regular season to the final pitch of the World Series, keep it locked on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, channel 89.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. Sirius XM Fight Nation, Sirius XM 156, and the SXM app.
The Pirates' Paul Skeens had a magnificent first season in MLB, and now on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio, host Jim Duquette was on to talk about how we should be ready for his second year.
Sandy Alcantara, the former Cy Young Award winner, coming back after missing last year with Tommy John surgery. Tarek Skubal and Blake Snell squaring off in L.A. late this afternoon on the East Coast, and that's three Cy Young awards between the two of them. That's the second. That's like the undercard, right? Is like Skeens Alcantara and then Skubal Snell almost feels like the undercard, which is weird to say, seeing as they have 3 times as many awards as that duo. I don't know. Like I feel like we brought up Skubal Snell the other day, and that's kind of the first conversation we'd had about it, but like I've known for a long time that it was going to be Skeens Alcantara. That seems to be the one that I think everybody's most, is it fair to say, curious about?
I mean, yeah, I think obviously because Skeens wasn't on the scene last year on opening day, like all right, what's a full season of Skeens look like? How does Sandy Alcantara look? You know, a full year off of pitching, coming back from the injury. He's going to be a high trade candidate or target if he can pitch healthy through the first part of the season. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I think you named all 4 of those guys. I want to look and say, all right, what is the over under of number of 100-mile-an-hour fastballs combined? Take those 4 starters, go 100 miles per hour fastballs. How many?
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Monday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 6:40 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates take on the Washington Nationals. Pirates on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 861. Nationals on Internet 869. 6:45 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the San Francisco Giants. Phillies on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 860. Giants on Internet 863. 7:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Kansas City Royals. Yankees on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 859. Royals on Internet 852. 7:05 p.m., Tampa Bay Rays take on the Boston Red Sox. Rays on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 866. Red Sox on Internet 844. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays face the Atlanta Braves. Blue Jays on Sirius 211, XM 178 and Internet 868. Braves on Internet 842. 7:40 p.m., Milwaukee Brewers take on the Detroit Tigers. Brewers on Sirius 119, XM 180 and Internet 856. Tigers on Internet 850. 7:40 p.m., Minnesota Twins face the New York Mets. Twins on Sirius 137, XM 181 and Internet 857. Mets on Internet 858. 7:45 p.m., St. Louis Cardinals taking the Houston Astros. Cardinals on Sirius 138, XM 179 and Internet 865. Astros on Internet 851. 9:40 p.m., San Diego Padres taking the Chicago Cubs. Padres on Sirius 139, XM 182 and Internet 862. Cubs on Internet 845. 10:10 p.m., LA Dodgers face the Colorado Rockies. Dodgers on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 854, Rockies on Internet 849, Spanish feed on Sirius 161, XM 183, and Internet 870. For 24/7 coverage of Major League Baseball, from day one of the regular season to the final pitch of the World Series, keep it locked on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, channel 89. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Monday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 6:40 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates take on the Washington Nationals. Pirates on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 861. Nationals on Internet 869. 6:45 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the San Francisco Giants. Phillies on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 860. Giants on Internet 863. 7:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Kansas City Royals. Yankees on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 859. Royals on Internet 852. 7:05 p.m., Tampa Bay Rays take on the Boston Red Sox. Rays on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 866. Red Sox on Internet 844. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays face the Atlanta Braves. Blue Jays on Sirius 211, XM 178, and Internet 868. Braves on Internet 842. 7:40 p.m., Milwaukee Brewers take on the Detroit Tigers. Brewers on Sirius 119, XM 180, and Internet 856. Tigers on Internet 850.
Uh-huh. Literally every night, and it's SpongeBob, so it pisses me off. Literally every night, and it's SpongeBob, so it pisses me off. Literally every night, and
Good night, insiders. See you tomorrow. Big triple header. I wasn't.
You can make that look like a fucking beatbox.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's like pissing
No.
me off.
I had to